gliding round at long on, who did the fielding. So just the 2 singles from the first 2 overs. Butler did look as if he was trying to get a move on there. But even when Butler, a man as strong as Butler, with the timing that he has, the wrists that he has, it's still hard to hit the ball a long way
cleanly
on this pitch. It really is. Lockie bowls a short one. He ducks under it. Does Stokes? It's signalled as 1 for the over. Erasmus says it's not a wide. Stokes was hoping, I think, that was going to be signalled as such.
Mrs. Clugston has decided dinner is late, marinating and hanging on each delivery. Anna Forsyth bricking it, that is all, as you were. Evil Scooters, no Hendo. New Zealand are definitely not favourites here. A New Zealander speaks.
Ah, well, that may be your pessimism. It's your pessimism versus mine. Ferguson in full and dug out by Stokes. And they'll get a run as it goes slowly up to Williamson at mid-off, but well, they do need a boundary desperately.
They need a boundary, but I don't know that it's totally desperate. They're not playing silly shots. In other situations, I've seen teams think, I need a boundary so much, I'll play ridiculous shots and get out. I think they're playing really sensibly.
I think they're going to wait for the right ball for a couple of overs. Yeah. Butler might try another scoop. I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see, Lockie's gone across and he's played it really deftly.
Can I call it?
Very deftly indeed. It's not going to go for 4 though, and they were looking at the ball. They were guilty of ball watching. Butler has finally got back for 2, but he looked at that as if to say that's gone for 4. Didn't really seem to run, and whoever it was down there at long leg did really well to get round and stop it going to the boundary.
That was the player of the day from Andy Ward, get it quietly, who called it about 5 seconds before it happened.
Yeah,
well, actually, he was even more deft than usual with that shot, because he realised it wasn't coming. He more or less glanced it in the end rather than...
well, a lot of the time when you get down there, you just do what you can.
Yeah, I mean, it was just instinct took over to an extent, yes.
I think it was a slightly slower ball as well.
You've got to be bloody good to play that shot.
Oh, God, yeah.
Not middle stump, straight out of the ground.
Well, Butler has 1 ball left of this over. He's on 47. It's wide of the off stump. He stretches for it. Somehow squeezes it down to third man. There's Bolt. He fires it in. Back to the wicket keeper.
6 off that over.
6 off the over. Not quite enough. 183 for 4 from 43.
Yeah, 3 tweets saying the same thing. Swing it both ways. 8 and over against these bowlers isn't an easy ask. Nigel Burgess, we're not doomed. We're effed, screwed, bollocksed and beaten. Arthurshire, it hasn't looked easy to score at 8 and over all day. Why should it become so now? Well, partly because, you know, you've got 6 wickets in hand and 7 overs left.
Yeah, but I do
think New Zealand in the driver's seat says.
Yeah, and I do think it's going to be difficult if we do lose it. If England do lose a wicket, the new batsman is not going to find it easy to adjust.
It's not, but there comes a point where you have to put that out of your mind.
Well, yes, true. 59 required from 42 balls. I mean, how many would England be happy chasing off the final over?
Final over, I'd say 8.
Yeah,
see,
8, 9.
That's not enough. That's. I think it's going to be more than that. That's my feeling.
I think they could probably get 12.
Here's a key over. They've gone with Bolt. They've taken Neesham off. I am surprised.
Yep, Bolt is coming back. Well, he has got 3 overs and he is their premier strike bowler. Williamson obviously thinks he needs a wicket. And
how does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
I am surprised by this.
His mouth is small, but his heart is big. What can he do as he comes in to bowl? From the opposite end that he's bowled earlier in the day, it looks like he's coming in from the nursery end. And the looks like the New Zealand pals, partners and lovers are...
what was the other acronym we had from that?
I don't know, there was another one. I don't know, was there another one? We shall see. Bolt has the ball in his hands. What is he going to do with it?
This is real crunch time.
It really is.
It doesn't get any crunchier.
As I say, it's his first over from the nursery end, I think. He's coming in to bowl to Butler. It's full, and Butler opens the face, drives, but picks out extra cover. And there is no run. 83 miles an hour, the first ball from Bolt, who may be looking to get reverse actually this time across the right-hander. But interesting to see. Looked as if that one did fade away from him ever so slightly.
It's got to the stage where I feel I need a jingle for a dot ball.
Yes, that would be handy at this sort of stage, wouldn't it? I agree with you on that. England 183. They need 59 from 41 balls, and Bolt gets to the crease. And then does he drop the ball, or he's just not feeling quite
New
right?
Zealand might mancad Butler at this point.
Whoa.
Mancad in the last 7 overs of a
Oh,
World
that'd
Cup
be so
final.
good.
Oh, the
That'd be
controversy!
so good.
Oh my word! You wouldn't hear the end of it for years.
I would actually, I mean, it would be even better to have seen Roy Mankad and see the reaction.
He's in again. Bowles, drives in the air over the top of extra
Shot.
cover. Taylor stretched up a hand, couldn't get near it. That's an important boundary for England. Butler goes to 50, 52 from 53.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Well, they've talked about Joss Butler. Has not really been in this tournament a lot since the early stages of it. Is he going to be the man at the end?
Did someone suggest that a long time ago in this innings?
Is that you?
Well done, well done.
Well, he hasn't got there yet.
No, 5-4s in that 52. Bolt in again. Oh, he tries to cut that one. He gets underneath it. Goes through to the keeper. Goes for a stroll towards square leg.
Neymar Buttonden's the only winner from this game will be my therapist. You'll be in there for months
Or
after this one.
cardiologist, actually, possibly.
Don't let Scholl too much in on it.
Yes. Clapping from Morgan, who's out on the tiny balcony. Bolt in again, right up in the block hole. He's driven it up to mid-off. They've hurried through for the single. Taken 5 from the first 4 balls of this over. Stokes would need a big hit as well.
I think Stokes might look to put one over the fence in these next 2 balls.
I think
Well,
it's
I'm
time
trying to
start
continue my
taking those
streak
risks.
here.
Well, the 100 partnership is up for England as well.
And
102
they've batted
these
so
two.
well.
Incredible stuff from them. Who were 88 for 4.
85 for 4, yeah.
Yeah, and now they are 188 for 4. Oh, there is tension, there is excitement, there is noise, there is lots of baying and shouting in the crowd.
Oh, thank God for them.
The members are banging their sticks on the ceiling.
The nerves are
Pipe
being
it down.
stretched.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Stokes to face, left arm over to left-hand batsman, who's right up in the block hole again,
Bowled.
beautifully bowled, in-swinging Yorker, but worked up to long on by Stokes, and he's got a 50 as well, and the members rise to Ben Stokes.
50 runs.
He's
Well done,
very rightly
well done,
not hardly celebrating
well
it at
done,
all.
Well done. 50 runs. Your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Well, the job has been going a while. I wouldn't say it's just begun, but they've got a long way to go still. They need another 53, is it? From 37 balls. 1 ball remaining of the 44th over. Some people can barely watch. It's Butler to face. Bolt right up at the block hole again. He's
Bolt
dug it out,
again.
but he can't get a single. It's into the extra cover area. There's Ross Taylor. There is no run. 6 runs off the over. So despite the 4 that Butler hit second ball, they still couldn't get it right up to the required rate. Brilliant bowling from Trent Bolt.
Bolt is bowling beautifully, and he's still getting some swing on a ball that's, 22 overs old.
Yeah, it's
which
really
is
brilliant.
pretty good.
Brilliant bowling.
2 very good Yorkers at the end. I'm sure Stokes Stokes and Butler would have been eyeing up a big shot there. Couldn't get it. Federer's broken Djokovic, leads 8-7 in the final set.
What do these England batsmen have to do? Do they need to come further outside their crease to try and negate that Yorker, or make it more difficult to bowl that
well,
Yorker?
different challenges against different bowlers. And
Well, I'm talking about Bolt, really, if he's going to bowl deliveries like
they
that.
can certainly do that. Turn those Yorkers into low full tosses and then maybe try to get underneath them.
Yeah.
Plenty of options. Only Henry and de Grandon were bowled out.
Yeah, they've got Ferguson with 2, Neesham 5,
I think they've
Santner with
underbowled
7,
Neesham.
Bolt 2. Well, Neesham's bowled 5 overs, 1 for 27, took a wicket with his first ball, got rid of Morgan, and that's when things got really difficult for England. But, they've now had 103, these two. And we have 6 overs of the 2019 World Cup remaining.
Hold me.
I'll try. It's all gone a bit quiet. Don't know what's going on. Nothing's happening. Maybe there are some discussions taking place.
Dan
amongst
Jocelyn
Wellington
stuck
and
in traffic, hurricane-related accidents, and the bad news is he doesn't have a couch to hide behind.
Ooh, Ferguson bowls first ball of a new over. It keeps
Sorry.
it a little bit low, but Stokes somehow manages to paddle it away down to long leg for a single. The fan zone is packed in Trafalgar Square. It's 190 for 4. England need 52 of 35 balls to become the first team from this country to win the World Cup. And we have 5 overs and 5 balls remaining. What can Jos Buttler do? Lockie Ferguson coming in to bowl. It's right up there. It's a ball. He's driven it over the top of extra cover. He got it low on the bat, but somehow managed to steer it up and over extra cover. And it's a run away to the boundary for a vital one of these. Well, maybe that was it, what we were talking about.
Well, that was where he didn't want to bowl. The deep fielders in the offside are a deep point and not even a long off, I don't think, but there's a big gap out of extra if you can get it over cover, and that's what Butler
Well, he's
did
quite
there.
short, isn't he, the extra cover there? He's nowhere near back on the edge of the circle. He's probably trying to stop the single there. But maybe he needs to stop the 4. He goes for a big heave at this. He's got a thick outside edge.
There's
Is
no one
that going to
there.
go all the way? No, it's brilliantly stopped by Trent Bolt, racing round, and they come back for 2. It's getting
I think they'll check that.
well.
I think it's okay, but he did hit the sponge, but I think after he released the ball.
Well, England moved to 196 for 4. This is just getting almost unbearable. We're having the boundary check. Is he in contact as he feels that? Oh, it's got to be close, hasn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, I think he's been all right. I think he's done that really well.
I think he's okay, yeah. He's
Wow.
lifted up his trailing foot, and he's by a fraction.
Do you think they're going to want to look at that from a slightly different angle?
I
think they
would
might.
in the circumstances.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to if they've got a better angle than that. I think he's done well.
I think it's pretty clear. The outfielding has been superb from New Zealand. It really has.
46 required off 33. Lockie in again. Shorty tries. Well, welcome back. Well, that was getting to quite an exciting moment in the or period in the World Cup final of 2019. We're getting to quite an exciting period at Nottingham, where England have moved 140 ahead, which when they lost 2 quick wickets this morning, not many of us foresaw, or not many of us natural pessimists foresaw. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson. I shall be joined very shortly by Messi Jez. And also, we are joined by Messi Jez, and I think we're looking for Jacob as well. Not sure where he
not
is.
on.
He's not on? What's happened? Has he lost his connection? What's happened to Jacob?
It's a long way to the West Country.
He came in, I just admitted him.
Where is Jacob?
He must have fallen off. I'll stay until he arrives back.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
Well,
he's coming
England's 2 batsmen are wandering out to the crease at different stages of their innings. Root on 96, and Jos Buttler has 15, but has looked to go on the attack a little bit. A couple of nice boundaries for him. Can Root get to another Test century? Well, we'll jingle up the batsmen, and then we'll jingle up the bowlers.
Okay, the batsmen are Skipper.
His voice is high-pitched and ginger hair like a pict, but massive runs he has hit, so there's that. Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
And
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Jos Buttler. Just because he is Jos Buttler. 1 S and 2 T's, Jos Buttler.
and the bowler is. Now, I'm not sure. Jacob keeps trying to get in and not quite being able to join. Maybe his internet's screwed.
We've had problems with Jacob's internet before. Shardle is in to bowl to Root. Root goes back to ball. Just moves a little bit.
It was Butler.
Off the seam. He's just dabbed it down towards third man. He likes that area, and he hurries back for a second, and then has to take evasive action as the ball seems to be heading towards him. The throw coming in from Jadeja, but Root has picked up. Sorry, is it Butler?
Yeah, it was Butler.
It was Butler. Sorry, picking up a couple of runs. He goes to 17. I thought it was Root that he'd gone to 98, but Butler starting things off. England moved to 237 for 5. The lead is 142. They were talking on Sky at the break what England would like. 250, David Lloyd said. I said 230 minimum from this position. But you can never really tell with England, can you? I mean, they could do that, but they're just as likely to collapse to 250 all out. Shardle, who of course picked up Joe Root in the first innings, is bowling to Jos Buttler, who does keep shaking that shoulder. And he's left it alone. He's bowled him. Oh my word, that's a shocking piece of judgment from Joss Butler. Second ball after tee. It didn't have a long way to come back, but it did what it had to do and clipped the off stump, and Joss Butler is on his way, and that is disastrous. Straight after tee, it's the old interval curse as Joss Butler goes for 17. Now, what was he doing there? Was he leaving that on length? If he was leaving that on length, then he's misjudged it. He was leaving it on line, then he's misjudged it even worse. And 3 minutes into the final session, England lose an absolutely vital wicket. Joss Butler, only 22 balls, only made 17, but he was looking to be attacking. Should have been more attacking with that one, really. And he's gone. What can we say?
Another intermission wicket for England.
Absolutely.
You flipping muppet.
What did you say?
You
know what
muppet.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, it looks like we've got Jacob.
Hello, sorry
he's
for
here.
my lateness.
No worries. We had troubles getting in, as did Joss Butler after tea. And so many troubles that he's got out almost immediately. Oh dear. Well, it would. I mean, England have been scoring runs quite nicely in the afternoon session while I've been off, and of course I come back, and I don't know, just like I don't know what I am. I'm just a bad omen for England.
Oh, I was just about to chide you for your pessimism when you said that England could easily be out for 250.
Well, yeah.
I've just been listening to the World Cup replay, and your pessimism runs so strong throughout the whole broadcast. It's really
what defines
funny.
me more than anything. Now, I just had a note from Jack, who is a fellow Wimbledon supporter, and he's just said the Dons have equalised. I didn't even know we were losing. So there we go. That would have been even worse if I'd looked at the score just as we were waiting for Sam Curran to come in. Let's jingle up Sam Curran.
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
Well, Sam Curran, man of the series in 2018, really needs to get stuck in here. He needs to get some runs and get England up to at least that 200 mark, which is now in jeopardy. Here comes Shardul Thakur, who's done quite well since Jack was slagging him off. Picked up 2 pretty important wickets. This turned out to deep backward square by Curran, who's off the mark with a single. England 238 for 6. What was he doing? Someone tell me what he was doing there.
Leaving on length, I think.
Is he leaving on length?
And I think it just hasn't got through as much as he thought. It's a bit fuller than he thought and didn't bounce as much as he expected. It did look like it kept maybe fractionally low if you were being kind to him. Like it wasn't the zip we've seen previously.
Yes, that's true.
I'm not inclined to be kind. Schnoddle in again, and it's the cut shot played by Root, that little sort of dab that he plays so well. Jadeja has been positioned at backward point, and he cuts off, and he thought that might run away for 4 and give Root his 100. So the pressure mounts on Root, who's looking for a 21st Test century.
I think more than anything, Butler was proving Grubby right in dropping Joss from his Test team.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there are so many England players you could drop. You'd have to start again. Actually, that's not a bad idea. When we started again with the ODI squad, it wasn't too bad, was it? Did quite well.
Right.
Anyway, maybe that's the way to go. Root settles down and waits for Shardul Thakur. Just the one slip there. He plays this late down into the gully, and again there is no run. Who's on tweets, by the way?
I am.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on those. Is there anything much coming in at the moment?
Yes, Leia talking about Cologne, as she says she concedes that Cologne is not the prettiest city in the world, but there is so much going on there beneath the surface, so much good food, so many interesting places you don't even see unless you know where to look, which is surely a bit useless for people who don't know where to look and are trying to explore the city.
If we go to Cologne after this delivery, full on leg stump, he's going to take a run up to mid-on and just steers it in that direction. Joe Root, he will keep the strike. Thakur, for a man who's little more than a Paul Collingwood. He's got 2 for 27, 239 for 6. I mean, we can make any bowlers look good. I suppose that's part of the England charm, really. Yeah, Cologne. I suppose if we all go to Cologne, we'll have to seek out Leah to show us around and show us all the good places. Then,
but surely none of these good places are ever discovered because you have to know where to look.
Yeah, but we have an in. We know someone who knows where to look. You see, so I think that would be the key.
We've also
probably
got Harriet Atkinson on Twitter saying, "At this rate, Mad Old Bat might even be in with a chance on the GPL." She said, jinxing it. Decided to eat both the fig biscuits and the Malteser buttons. Always a good. Always.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Oh, Malteser buttons. You can't knock them. Mohammed Siraj is going to open with Thakur. So I suppose you would say the two change bowlers are going to open straight after tea. He's got a jingle goes like this.
When you gotta fight your way from the streets, gotta find a way to land in your food. There's only one man who can save us now. Where's Mohammed Siraj?
I think it's finished. I can hear it in the back of my headphones very, very slightly if I press them to my ear. The first ball is a straight one on a good length, and it's defended watchfully by Joe Root, who's now moved within 3 of a 21st Test century. We have said, of course, I'm really not going to do this, that he's only been out once in the 90s before now.
Nigel, no.
I've taken it on. I'm taking it on the chin.
No.
Come on, as the pessimist, I'm allowed to do that. Siraj in again to Root. Root outside the off stump plays defensively off the back foot. The ball rolls towards extra cover, and there is no run. The lead is 144. It's all a bit tense, isn't it? It's all a bit tense.
I think it's wonderful. It's what we've been waiting for. I tell you, the most surprising thing about today is we haven't lost a minute to rain. It's quite extraordinary.
No, just as I was about to leave my mum's, I saw something saying there were some spots of rain around. I thought, I've got to get back and there'll be no cricket. But it stayed away. Oh, he's gone past the outside edge. And well taken by Pant, because that swung right at the last moment. Very, very fine take from him. And again, there is no run. But
I had a small heart attack there, and I'll tell you for why. Christy George on YouTube, I thought with premonition, said Joe Root out. Typed it just as that ball was about to be delivered.
Oh no, that's just unkind, isn't it? I'm sure that's what he wants. He wants Joe Root out. England fans want him to go to 100, and it'd be a well-deserved 100. He goes back to this one and plays it with the angle coming into him towards mid-on, and again there is no run. Let's see, as the neutral in this, can you see which way you think it's going?
Well, my heart actually says India. My head says it's probably going to end up as a draw because of the weather, because this is England and it's summer.
Yeah, but we've had a much better day today. We had a much better day yesterday than we were expecting, even though we only got 49 overs. I think it was. Anyway. Here's Siraj. He's into his 21st over. He's bowling to Root. It's full, and he chips that a little bit. He's got a short mid-wicket, fairly straight in there. There's also a mid-on who's straighter, and it was much more towards the mid-on. But I think they like the idea of him just clipping in the air ever so slightly. So they've got that man in quite an interesting position.
I think that might have stuck in the wicket just a little bit too.
Maybe it did. Maybe that's why. Maybe he got under it a little bit because of that. Anyway, he's settling down again and waiting for Siraj's final ball of the over. He's hit him on the pad. He's well forward, though. He's outside the line of off stump. Slightly hiding his bat. Siraj wants it because he thinks he's not playing a shot.
You've done him there, Nigel.
And having a little chat about this. Siraj is very keen. He's very keen. He's saying he's hiding the bat. And it's going to be... He's going to review it, is Kohli, and this is going to...
I think.
This is just going to be about the judgment of the umpire, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to put on the sound, see if I can...
Yeah, it's a curious one, this one. As I said, I thought he was initially playing a shot. In the end, I think you've got to say he's playing a shot there, haven't you? I mean, it has hit the
plate at that.
I mean, it has hit his pad, and it's hitting just outside the line, I think. It can't be more than umpire's call, can it? Let's have a look.
I don't think no.
No, it's hitting
it's
well
outside.
outside. Well outside.
Oh, Hendo. What are you trying to do to me?
Yeah, sorry, I rather sort of rushed with my judgment on that.
Yeah.
But I think it was right in the end, proved to be right in the end. That is the end of the over, 239 for 6. The lead is 144, Root has 97, and Curran has 1. More tweets.
Yes, Dara Azizi on YouTube says what you can say is that Curran should definitely bat higher than Butler. Rohit Singh appropriately says, welcome back to you and your omens, Nigel. When you leave, please leave your omens behind. Leia says, great, now India have to pry out the set route because they sure as shit can't get Curran dismissed. And also reassures me that I shouldn't worry about going to Cologne, she can hook me up with the locals. And then finally, Jay Grover, given Hendo's fear and loathing of the 100, his commentary is as jump-inducing as Atif's on the wireless. Shat myself about 3 times now. Let's not go back to the underwear question, eh?
Absolutely not. I don't have fear and loathing of the 100. I'm kind of undecided about it.
Yeah.
Thacker is in full driven, lovely stroke from Curran. Finds the gap between two men posted quite close together in the covers, and that runs away to the boundary for one of these.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
I'm pretty much with, not with Annie regarding the 100. I'm pretty worried about what it'll do to county cricket as a product. I don't think it's bad at all. I don't like all the hype. I really don't like the hype.
No.
I think as Mike Atherton has said, if something is good, you don't have to keep telling people it's good. They'll know that. Anyway, 243 for 6, Curran on to 5. In comes Shardul again. It goes on to the back foot. That one keeps a little bit low, and he has to jab down on it at the last moment. It runs out towards extra cover. And we're looking at that Sam Curran batting masterclass, really, in some senses, in those tests against India in 2018. 24, 63, 40, 78, 46, Norton 21. It wasn't just the scores, it was the way he made those runs and really took the game away from India with some really good attacking batting low down in the England order. Thacker again, he's into his 12th over. He bowls outside the off stump, he just jabs it into the offside, looks at Root answers more or less with his eyes rather than anything else, and comes through for a comfortable single. England go to 244 for 6 and brings Root down with another opportunity to eke out that score of 3 figures. Just looking to...
Sorry. My gut feeling with Sam Curran is that when he gets to Australia, his bowling won't be very effective, but I think his batting might prove to be very effective.
Yeah, I mean, it does occasionally swing in Australia. I mean, you do get overcast days, especially in Melbourne. He might have a good day or two with
Adelaide
the ball.
Adelaide under lights,
pink ball. I just think Curran is a very useful cricketer to have in your squad. He's forward again. He's appealing for LBW once more. And Michael Goff is saying, no, sir, it's not Siraj, it's Shardul Thacker this time. He's outside the line of off stump. I think that's the main thing we can take from this. There is a question about
this
whether
time he was playing a shot. I don't think he was the first time, to be honest.
Well, I thought he was, but I mean, it just kind of as if the bat got just trapped behind the pad a little bit. That one is even harder to tell because it almost looks like inside of the bat and pad at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, he's living a little bit dangerously at the moment, is Root, as he tries to get England up to a lead of 200. Here comes Thacker again into him, and he pushes at this one. It's again not timing it very well, getting much of the inside of the bat onto the ball, and rather than going out into the covers where he was aiming it went more or less straight back to the bowler. But, the last thing England need is to lose Root, having lost Butler in that rather disappointing manner so quickly after the break. 244 for 6. Thacker is about to complete his 12th over. He's got actually pretty good figures, 2 for 32. And He's trying to see if he can prize out the England captain. Well, it's down the leg side, and there's an appeal as punt goes to his left to take a diving catch. Coley is quite excited as well. He's also smiling about it. Root got nothing on that. And it is the end of the over, 244 for 6. Jacob.
Yes, Jay Grover responds to your point, saying he wasn't making a point about the 100, he just gets scared by the loud noises.
Well, funnily enough, when dramatic moments come, and talking of dramatic moments, I've just switched onto the BBC website to find that the score is now Doncaster Rovers 1, AFC Wimbledon 2.
Woo!
Woo, 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 woo. Can they hold on to it? Barely scored a goal in pre-season. So this is the height of excitement. It really is.
I thought AFC Wimbledon traditionally started with 6 losses.
It's generally true. It's generally true. And there's still time for them to lose it from here. 16 minutes to go. But yes, we're just looking at a replay of that one down the leg side. I think that Cody was getting quite a bit of stick from the crowd, who were all standing up and giving the review signal to him. And Cody saw the funny side of it as well, which is good.
Well, they don't have any reviews left at all now.
Who, India do?
No, they've exhausted them all. Yeah.
Have they? Oh, lovely ball from Siraj, which seems to gather pace off the pitch. He had to play at it, and it whistled past the outside edge of Curran's bat. He didn't do anything greatly wrong. It was just a fabulous piece of bowling. Scrambled seam again. He does seem to be able to get movement with that scrambled seam. Does Siraj, and that was a really lovely delivery. So it's could go one way or the other. Can England hang on in there? It's a tricky period for them here. And Siraj, 2 for 69, is continuing. He bowls to Curran outside his leg stump. He flicks it, but straight to mid-wicket. Bajara does the fielding. I get a little bit rowdy at Trent Bridge. I've got the, you probably can't hear it, but I have got the sound up a little bit, and I can hear that they're getting right into the thick of things, especially with regards to reviews, and it's quite good fun.
It's interesting. Root's been on in the 90s for a long time, but he hasn't had much of the strike since he reached 90.
He hasn't had many loose balls, to be honest. So they are making it difficult for him. What we've been going another 15 minutes since tee, outside the off stump, crunched by Curran off the back foot. What a shot that is! They'll have enjoyed that in the stands. It's 4 more runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
248 for 6 with that shot. It's a classic drive off the back foot. It really is from Sam Curran. There's a lot of people. There was a little bit, wasn't it, when Johnny Bairstow was out, that Siraj gave him the finger over the lips. There must have been something going on with those two, and now we're getting quite a bit of that from the crowd towards Mohammad Siraj when he's hit for 4. 248 for 6, Curran into the double figures, 10 from 7. Sun just filtering through, and he's in again. He bowls a short one down the arse, as Ian O'Brien would say, and Curran just leans inside it, and Siraj is really getting involved, and I'm not sure why he needs to. And I think the umpire needs to step in here, because really Curran has done nothing there, and he's stood in front of him and given him verbals for hitting a 4 off him, and that's really not great. It's not a great look. I know people were talking about Siraj in Australia, and that it was racism directed at him when he was in the outfield, but I don't think that Sam Curran has been saying anything to him at all, and he's right in his face after he's ducked the bouncer. Curran just looks back at him, and I'm not sure whether he said anything much in reply. Just puts his head down, really. So yeah, he's an aggressive bowler, and you like to see that aggression, but that's going a bit too far, I think. He's in again. It's another short one. This time it climbs towards the chin of Curran, and he just drops it down in front of him, and he's given the stare again. I think, what do we think about this, guys?
If I was Coley, I would actually take him off now, because I think he's likely to actually prove to be very costly if he keeps that pace, both in terms of the team morale and just getting messy, because they've been quite disciplined. Yeah.
I'm trying to work out what Curran's saying there. He's saying, yeah.
Saying, calm down.
Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? 248 for 6. The lead has gone past 150 with that most recent 4 from Curran. And he's right at the back of his run, Siraj, and he's still chuntering away. Anyway, he's going to try and channel that into his next delivery. He's into Curran. It's another short one, which Curran has no problems with at all. Lets it go past him. And once more, Siraj is coming down, having a long stare at it. Kohli is now telling him to calm down, which is quite interesting. At the end of the over, England 248 for 6, Root 97, and Curran 10. Jacob.
Yes, Pokey Bumfinger on YouTube says, I think the 100 is great for the women's game, but not convinced it brings anything new to the men's. George McPherson replies, the 100 as a whole is bad for domestic cricket in England. Rohit Singh, talking about Siraj, says, you don't have to say a single word to intimidate the batsman. Poor from Siraj. More stuff on the 100. Leia says, I've said this about the 100 before, but it's cricket's the Magnificent Seven. Good, but it always reminds you of the better, the Seven Samurai.
I like the Magnificent Seven. I don't think I've ever seen the Seven Samurai. Thacker will continue into his 13th over. He's bowling to Root. Root has only got 1 run since tea. He needs to get that 100 under his belt. Outside the off stump, he's given the opportunity there. He's cut it! Oh, and was that a drop at extra cover? Did he fail to get over the top of that? Curious. I want to see that again. If so, it might have been Siraj who put it down. That would be interesting. I need to see a replay of that. I'm not 100% sure it carried to the man there, but Root has hit that up. He's trying to get over the top of it. No, it's just dropped short of him. Just dropped short of him. Kohli was excited for a moment, and Root's annoyed that he's let a really good scoring opportunity go. Thacker in again. He offers up a loopy one. He drives it beautifully, but he picks out Siraj again at extra cover. And you just feel these are worrying times for Root. He's got to make sure he doesn't get himself frustrated by playing really nice, fluent shots. But he's crammed that offside at the moment, has Kohli. And Root can't find the gap, which is unusual for him. He's also put a man back now at deep cover. So he's cutting off the boundary there, and so that kind of shot won't bring him the 4 that he requires, or the 3 that he requires. Outside the off stump, it keeps a little bit low as he tries to cut that one. But couldn't lay a bat on it. And I'm just a little bit concerned with my England supporting cap on that Root is just going to throw it away here. I just feel it in my bones.
It's sort of like a bowler who's lost shape. He's a batsman who's sort of lost shape at the moment. He sort of needs to just stop and breathe for a few seconds. And
I think he does. I think he's been rattled by the fact he hasn't got the 100 and the fact that the way that Joss Butler got out. Anyway, Thacker again in to Root. It's full. He's driven it straight this time, and he raises his hands because he knows that's going all the way to the boundary. That's about as excited as Joe Root ever gets, to be honest. That was more like a Warner celebration.
It was.
He's obviously loved this 100. He knows how important it is, and he's milking the applause. He's touching the cinch badge on his shirt, and he's celebrating by suggesting that you buy a second-hand car.
Is that what cinch is?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
You are indeed. For the 21st time, would you believe? 14 fours, 154 balls, strike rate of 65.6. He's been out there for the best part, well, more than 4 hours, isn't it? Or just over 4 hours. And he's done a fantastic job. It could be a match-winning innings. He's just got to settle down, not get overexcited. Thacker is in again. He's outside the off-stump, and that keeps low again. Oof. Root had gone back, and he was in danger of chopping that onto his stumps. And I'm sorry if I frightened poor old Jago, a man of great sensitivity, but that really did keep low. And I thought for a moment it found its way through. This game is fantastically poised. It really is. Yes. And both teams are stretching every sinew in their attempts to ensure that they're the ones that come out on top. I'm sure that must have been Mrs. Joe Root up there applauding in the pavilion, and I think he'll think that's one of his better hundreds. Start of a new over, and it was still the same over. We had a couple of balls to go, or one ball to go, and Rude has helped himself to a single out to deep mid wicket. He goes to 102 at the end of the over. England are 253 for 6. Jacob.
Warren says Hendo reading current scores is like the host reading the vital statistics at the Miss Florida pageant. The Crunch says Kohli should have to give everyone in the ground a quid for each appeal. Apparently, according to Nestlers, Boris Johnson was almost swept out to sea while paddleboarding on holiday. And our very own Messi Jez said, if only would the RNLI have rescued him.
Well, what would have been even better is if he'd been rescued by the new Nigel Farage RNLI boat, which is, they're now going to buy because of all the donations that have come in since Farage slagged them off on that dreadful TV channel that I won't mention.
Sorry, just one more. I think appropriately, Paul Howarth has chimed in with Rude.
Well, he's going to continue to face. It's Siraj. Is Siraj going to dish out as much verbals, or as many verbals to Joe Root as he was to Sam Curran? We shall see. Just the one slip, and Root lets the ball pass way outside the off stump. Kohli is the man that slipped. The ball was passed to him by Rishabh Pant. There is no run. The lead is 158.
The question I ask myself is, how seriously dreadful would England be without Root?
Well, actually, looking back over the years, over the last few years, how dreadful would England be without Root and Stokes in the batting? And I think that has held them together. I think George Dobell made that point, that especially about Stokes, but it's also true of Root, absolutely. Slip in a gully, and Siraj is in, and Root eases that wide of the gully. It will allow them to come through for a single, and England move to 254 for 6.
I mean, so far this year he's had 2 double centuries and 2 centuries, and had he done a little better against New Zealand, fortunes might have been better, but he didn't do well against New Zealand, and England failed miserably. Well,
he got in a couple of times, didn't he, against New Zealand? He got a couple of 40s and then managed to get himself
got 42
out.
and 40.
Yeah. And that's pretty good. I mean, averaging 40 is good in Test cricket. Siraj in again to Curran, who gets inside this and then tickles it away. Very fine indeed. Is he going to have some words with Mohammad Siraj? No, he's just going to accept that that's 4 runs and go and prod the pitch.
Yeah, I guess the point I'm making is, 40 is good, but if Root doesn't make a century, England are very often in trouble.
Yep, it's very true, very true. We shall be making a change in, at the end of this over, I think. We've got 3 balls to go. It was quick. It does go quick when you're enjoying things. Jacob will be taking over on ball by ball. Al will be coming in to do social media. And the Bear will be summarising in his own inimitable style. In comes Siraj, bowls again on the line of leg stump. This is defended straight to mid wicket, and there is no run. So it's been very exciting since tea. It was pretty exciting up to tea, but there's a real edge out there. I've never seen Joe Root celebrate a 50 or 100 in anything like that manner, and as I say, he's normally fairly undemonstrative, and which is always difficult to say. Now Siraj is going to switch to round the wicket to Curran. Is he going to pepper him with a short one that into the ribs or into the chin? A little bit of chin music, perhaps. Here he is, running in, bowls to Curran. Curran drives quite nicely. There is a man out there, I think, at deep backward points. So it's only going to be a single. Ajinkya Rahane is the man. Curran moves on to 15. England to 259 for 6. The lead is now 164.
I'm very much agreeing with the comment that Curran should have been above Butler in the batting order.
Well, they were worried, weren't they, at the outset? I mean, that's that Curran would be batting too high at 7. They wanted him at 8. As we know, the value of a good number 8, as Gary keeps telling us. Rooted down to face, Siraj is back over the wicket, and he's in, and he bowls him a short one, which loops through in the end to Rishabh Pant. Root pulls out of the prospect of pulling it, and that is the end of the over. It's time for a change. Jacob will be your next ball by ball.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Hendo, and hello to the bear and to Al.
Hello, Al. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Al.
Well, it's always good to be here wherever I am. I'm always glad I'm here.
Well, I was going to say England have come right into 5-2. They're actually ahead of India for the win finally now. Who are out at 7-2. The draw is still favourite at 4-5, but even that's going out from almost a dead cert now. I think there's a result in this. Apparently someone said we can go till 7:30 tonight. It wouldn't surprise me if England were out by about 7:30, or certainly down to the last 2 wickets, if not long before that.
Might this be one of these weird test matches where each inning gets progressively bigger in terms of runs scored? That the first innings is the least numbered scored.
I don't think so. I think England batted poorly. They bowled well at times and fielded pretty shit, and let India get to a score that was a competitive score. It was a good score, and they've really had to, had to put their nose to the grindstone here to get out of this situation. And they've got themselves into a situation now where, if they get to 200, they're kind of in the box seat.
Okay, we've got a bowling change. Ravi Jadeja coming on in the 4 overs before the second new ball can be taken. India just trying to save their probably 2 frontline bowlers in Bumrah and Shami to take that new ball. Siraj and Thakur were on, but now Thakur has been replaced by Jadeja as he comes round the wicket, or left arm over the wicket, sorry, to the left-handed Curran, who steps back and hits it hard out into the offside, and there's a misfield, but they won't take a run.
I would think if they got if they get to 200 and these two are still here.
As Jadeja floats one up and Curran goes back, punches that into the offside, and that's running away, and that will be 4. Nice shot by Sam Curran.
Indeed. I think Root will be left to his own devices, or as captain he will decide this anyway, and tell the people at the other end to not be stupid, but to try and put the pressure onto India and create a situation where they can get 270 ahead and possibly
Curran is back defending to Jadeja.
Force the issue tomorrow. Would be my thinking.
Curran now 19 off 16 deliveries. Pretty good strike rate from him as he defends another one back down the pit. Is this the point where he and Root, both of them start to attack? Root got his century now. Get that lead above 200.
I think Root will be a little bit more expansive.
As Curran is back again, punching out into the offside. But there will be no run as Jadeja fields from his own bowling.
And I think Curran will play his natural game. If you can get 30 out of Curran, 30 out of Ollie Robinson, and 10 out of the other 2, between them even.
As Curran trickles one away into the offside, and it'll be a single, he'll nick the strike. A question about the 4th innings then. If the pitch stays like this and the ball doesn't swing, is this a chase for Rishabh Pant?
Oh, definitely. Very much so. If he comes out, I don't think no matter what the situation is, if they're onto a loser, he'll still come out and try and impose himself on the game. In fact, that might even suit him better if they were sort of 120 behind when he came in with 4 wickets left, sort of deal, and then it's kind of Pant's time to be a hero. Might well make it. I think he struggles. He'll struggle overall in England. Just because of the shape of the ball, and who knows what will happen tomorrow with the ball in Anderson's hands, for example.
Do you think India have because it happened in the New Zealand test, do you think India has just picked a bit of a dud for this one? Some balls have just not swung.
Possible. It could be. I mean, I said this earlier, it could be that it's pretty blowy, and if it's pretty blowy, I think that just, someone was saying yesterday, it disturbs the airflow. You need quite still airflow for it to swing. apparently.
Well, we'll see in 3 overs when they get the second new ball as Siraj is in to Curran, who's defending. And there will be no run as Siraj jogs down the pitch, kicks the ball to Pant and refrains from having a word with Sam Curran as he has in previous overs.
He's a bit excitable, isn't he, Siraj? I mean, I kind of like a little bit of bustle and shit, but I mean, he's doing it pointlessly.
Especially when Curran hasn't really done anything. You just kind of got out of the way of a short ball and he's giving him a bit of chirp.
Or, you know, giving him a bit of chirp after he just smacked you for 4 through the covers. I mean, what's that all about? You just bowled a shit ball and I hit you for 4 and now you're giving me chirp. It's just like, yeah.
Siraj round the wicket to the left arm. Curran into the body as Curran tucks it off his hip, and it will be recovered by the man at short mid wicket. England's lead now 169. We were all saying earlier 180. They're in it. 230, 50. They're on top.
Yeah, very much so. I think 180 is quite an even game. 230, 250, it's England's.
Well, we'll see the impact of the second new ball in a bit as Siraj comes in and Curran drives straight, and it will be recovered by a diving Cheteshwar Pujara at cover.
Oh, by the way, did you see the Japanese beat the Yanks in the baseball at the Olympics?
Wonderful.
The gold medal.
Yeah, but I mean, those kids are college kids. They don't represent even the 4th or 5th.
Oh, really?
Level of player inside baseball, because the baseball season's going on at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
As Siraj puts a short one into Curran, who ducks well under. This gets inside the line and ducks under, and it goes through to a leaping Rishabh Pant. Siraj again having a bit of a stare, but restraining himself from a word. I think Captain Kohli's had a little chat with him after that previous over and just told him to rein it in.
And Virat's gone to have a little sit on the sidelines.
The second time today he's had that.
I think he just decides, I need a break. I need to go and sit down. You get on field for me.
Can't deal with this rubbish anymore.
It's difficult being me all day.
Yeah.
As Raj comes on a slightly different run from behind the umpire, swaying out, and Curran will defend into the offside, and they'll get a single for route to face the last ball. Am I right there? Did Siraj slightly modify his run-up to swing out from behind the umpire slightly?
He might want to have done that. 'Cause that's a little bit of an IPL tactic, isn't it? Some of them do that. And there's another bowler from somewhere else that does that too.
You get a few as well, particularly spinners who come through the umpire and bowl that way.
Yeah, I do that. I prefer it. I always used to think I was going to crash into the umpire. I like a nice wide alleyway to get through.
Does the umpire have to be accommodating to you, or do you have to? Do you have to do it?
Kind of, yeah. Some of them you'll get who are really annoying.
As Root defends Siraj into the offside and into a gap, and will again get through for a single. England 266 for 6 at the end of the 78th over, leading by 171. Al on the social.
Perfect. Leah, Hendo has never watched the best movie ever made. Jay Grover. No, I did it again. Jay Grover, could we have a volunteer drown Farage and Johnson boat service? Nestler says, I wouldn't. I'd let the fat fucker drown.
Well, of
Warren,
course.
Hot Mike can't sink when Bumble is commentating. Maybe it all objects to the bullshit.
As to umpires letting you go through, some of them get really arsey and going, well, I can't see if I stand that far back. It's like, well, you're still in a straight line and you're only about 4 feet further than you were. If you can't see an extra 4 feet, then you're an idiot. But sometimes they'll do that. And that
Does that help with your relationship with umpires?
Not really.
As Jadeja continues his spell, we just saw WinViz, which had the draw as 51%, England at 20%, and I think India at 19%. So a finely poised game at the moment.
Indeed.
Jadeja is in. Left arm around the wicket to the right-handed Root, who drives. Was a quick run, and that's possibly gone to the wrong end. The fielder recovering it there. I think maybe Root was home safe, but Curran was definitely a bit more of a way away. Let's have a look.
It went to Curran's end. Yeah, Curran
I think
was
it's
a bit slow
it's how
setting off.
Rowett. Yeah, it's all about how Rowett's got off his back. He's throwing it to the end that he can see.
Yeah.
To try and throw to the other end would have been a feat of gymnastics, I think, that Sharma can't quite pull off.
As Jadeja gets a straighter one, Curran turning into him from left arm over the wicket, and Curran defends it back down towards mid-arm for no run. Second new ball available in 1.4 overs as Jadeja is in, floating this one up, but a bit short, and Curran drives that nicely off the back foot, and it will go out to the man stationed at long on, and they'll come through for a single. What do we think about the second new ball? How will that impact things?
Wow.
As Jadeja is in, and Root is sweeping on line more than anything, but there will be no runners as a man backward of square there.
I certainly think he'll take more chances on sweeps, actually, now he's got 100. Because if he gets out LBW before 100 on a sweep, you know, it's a bit annoying.
As Root is forward, resolutely defending and patting it back to Jadeja. Well, he swept that last one on line more than anything, which is what he did wonderfully in Sri Lanka. Anything too far outside off or too far down leg, you just have a sweep at. As he clips this one into the leg side, into the gap, and there will be a single to end the 79th over. Last one before the new ball now. England 269 for 6, leading by 174. Al.
Leah actually agrees with me. Al's right in the way that the MLB players aren't at the Olympics, but the really good MLB players aren't American. They're Dominican, Cuban, Japanese. Some of them are. I mean, certainly I would love to see Shohei Ohtani at the Olympics. Some of the Dominicans are brilliant, but the Americans are pretty good. So it would be a different tournament. It would be interesting to see about who would win. Jay Grover says he was promoting a boat service to actively drown Farage and Johnson. I couldn't comment.
I could, yeah, go for it. I'll send some money for that one. What do you have to do though? You have to chase them down, take them out to sea, and put some concrete boots on them.
Right. If we're going to chase them down, you can only do so to the music from Benny Hill.
Okay.
Does that seem fair?
I mean, it would be murder, but you know, if you want to commit that, then.
Yeah, and the sort of the premeditation part of it, this broadcast might be seen as that.
Well,
this is evidence now. We will be able to stand as Siraj is in to Root. Oh, looking pretty good. There's a big appeal for LBW going over the top, quite possibly. Kohli has said he's caught it as well.
You've got no reviews. You've got no reviews.
Root has defended pretty gingerly forward, not much of a stride, and Kohli is appealing for both the LBW, which looked a bit high, and secondly, the potential of an inside edge onto pad to caught Kohli in the slips. We'll have a look at this. It's a wobble seam delivery from Siraj, jagging back in. No inside. Oh, off the glove.
No, I don't think it was, but I think that's what they were appealing for. And it might well have come off the glove.
That looks like it could well have been out.
Oh, well, yeah.
Kohli is
it couldn't happen to a nicer bowler than Siraj.
I mean,
and a nicer captain.
I'm no doubt that Sky will show us that. It was definitely high for the LBW, hitting him over the knee roll, but that could well have been it for Joe Root if it's come off his gloves on the way out, and it has been caught by Kohli at second slip. He was pleading with umpire Kettleborough as Siraj is in again, presumably quite annoyed. A bit short, and Joe Root punches that off the back foot and will get off strike. Possibly quite lucky to have his lives intact.
Well,
Kettleborough does really well to act like a disinterested parent, doesn't he?
Have a look. There's a noise by the pad.
No.
There is no noise by the glove. There's nothing.
Yeah, the glove's nowhere near it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't out.
From front on, it looked like there could have been some gloves.
Yeah, the foreshortening effect of the camera.
Yeah. And we'll have a look at the LBW now. Impact in line, wickets well over the top, so nothing much going for that. They probably would have had a review and would have lost their final review with that.
Well, exactly.
The crowd chiming in with the big T symbol. Kohli having a little smile about it.
We've got a review, but you haven't.
As Curran again punches off the back foot, and that's gone square of the wicket, and they'll get through for a single. Siraj changing tack back to right arm over against the left-handed Curran, who's been coming round more recently.
Curran's doing really well here. He's just knocking him about, isn't he? Very accomplished.
It's an interesting sort of diversion on the idea of we need to be more aggressive, and you automatically think 4s and 6s and stuff, but being able to rotate the strike does just as good a job at this point.
Especially with a left and right as well, because it's annoying for the bowler.
Siraj bowls to Root, jagging back in, but short and comfortably defended by Root, just tucking himself in behind it in line, and Siraj looking somewhat dejected on his way back to the top of his mark.
What was wrong with Ishant Sharma, by the way? What did he pick up before this game? Anyone?
Not sure.
If
Not
anyone on the Twitter sphere can tell
I
us.
didn't actually hear that he'd been injured. I just thought
he was.
No, I thought he pulled up a little bit lame just before the game.
As Root drives attractively outside the off stump, but there is a man out there. It won't be a foul for Joe Root. KL Rahul, I think that is, but it'll just be a single. Nice drive though from Joe Root.
And
full and wide for Siraj.
What you have to say about here is that this is the beauty of Test cricket, because even if we get 220 ahead, India's heads will be down. They'd have thought they were in the box seat with the lead that they got in the first innings. England have clawed it back. They spent a long time in the field, and there will be scoreboard pressure if England can get a couple of early wickets. So it's the beauty of the game.
Kohli will certainly feel he has possibly let his team down a little bit with that duck, even though it was an absolute jaffa. As Siraj is in over the wicket to the left-handed Curran, bang it in short, and that will be the end of the 80th over. England 272, leading by 177 for just 6 wickets down, and the second new ball is available. There's no question really, they've got to take it, and I think they are.
Magically produced that, hasn't he?
I think my bloody computer's about to restart.
New balls, please.
New balls, please.
Yeah, we
Second
might.
new ball
like
has
that.
been taken, and Jasprit Bumrah is straight on. So I expect we'll have a double change here with Shami on the other end. If we jingle up Jasprit.
And now that Monty Bumrah, oh, you're bowling again, aren't you? Oh, I thought as much.
Very nice. Jasprit Bumrah with figures of 2 for 55 so far in this test match. He looked a bit wayward to me in his first couple of spells. I thought he really didn't bowl as well as he could. A few too many half volleys, but has come back and taken 2 pretty decent wickets.
Yeah, but he bowls that. He's always going to. He bowls quick, but he strives for fuller lengths. He's always going to give away a few half volleys.
As Bumrah canters in and Root drives nicely, but only as far as the man at short cover. Bit short for that drive, but Root managed to adjust the angle of his bat, played it sort of half cross-batted and a bit of bottom hand through it.
That was also a real bloody loosener. It was only 78 miles an hour.
He hasn't bowled in a while, though, has he? It's from
No, but I mean, if he only bowls his 17th over in the second innings at 78 miles an hour.
This one might be quicker, though.
As Bumrah is in again, he's certainly a individual run-up, and Root dabs that down into the offside, and there'll just be a touch of swing there from Jasprit Bumrah. His big in-swinger is his thing, but first 2 balls, not a lot prodigious.
No, well, down on pace, and it looks like he's a bit stiff in his. As you said, it's not really a run-up; it's a bound-up, but his bound-up looks a little bit stiff.
That could be a 50 partnership for these pair.
I think it may well have been. We'll see if it's announced in a minute, but we'll see really with Bumrah, because it was to Burns from over the wicket that he got the ball swinging a lot, and now he's got Curran, the left-hander, on, so he might get that outswinger to the left-hander, which is his favourite delivery, pushing it across. We'll see if he can get a bit of movement as he trots in again, and there is some movement there, out the hand and off the pitch, but usually a lot more and a lot later from Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, it's starting to wind his pace up a bit, up to 82 for that delivery. But one of the things about Bumrah is the big question I have for him is he going to be able to go the whole series, play every test, or is he one of these bowlers who's only going to be able to play 3 out of 5?
As Bumrah starts his walk and then his run in, and there's a bit more movement there from Bumrah. It's taken the outside half of Curran's bat and trickled out to the man at deep point and they'll just get through for a single. Curran moved to 24 off 30. He's playing a really good supporting role to Root, who is the magnificent Centurion. 109 off 170 deliveries. Quick 100. Only delayed by his quite long stint in the 90s.
Yeah, he hung around in the 90s. Obviously a bit nervous, the nervous 90s.
Absolutely, as Bumrah is at the top of his mark. Running in with that elastic arm, and Root defends, looks for a scampered single, but Curran sends him back probably pretty wisely, as Axar Patel, the sub-fielder, was in there coming round to gather the ball quite close to the stump. It's amazing with Bumrah, he effectively bowls from 21 yards because his release point is so late and he gets so much hyperextension on his elbow. They did a graphic the other day on Sky. Shami got 182 degrees of extension and Bumrah got 220 odd, which is just ridiculous, almost turning his arm backwards. As Root fiddles at one and it's edged, and Bumrah has his man. Root goes for 109, a little bit of movement, a little bit of nibble off the seam, and Root goes for a very well made century. England 274 for 7, leading by 179.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
That's a cracking delivery to a man who's on 109, and as you said, it went far enough off the seam that he was looking to guide it down at third man, wasn't it? And it just went off the seam and caught the edge instead of coming off the face of the bat. Very good innings by Root. Put England in a pretty decent position here. Lead of 179, 180, call it. I'd like another 40 or 50 runs out what's left of the England batting order. But it's already proven to be an interesting test, or an interesting position anyway, especially if we get a full day's play tomorrow.
Right, I'm going to bring you up to date with some tweets. Neymar Butlin's learning to play help in the guitar while listening to Hot Mic. Do you get the symbolism in the song choice? Warren, trying to Hot Mic sync in the US is almost impossible as a large portion of the population living in the dark ages. Jay Grover thinks that Sharma might have a hand injury. Warren, pants sunglasses look like they were bought at the end of the pier in Blackpool. Ravi Nair, remember at the start of his career when Root didn't want to open and face the first new ball, but also didn't want to bat at 6 and face the second new ball. He kept getting out to it. From what Ravi's saying.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what a new ball. That's why you have new ball bowlers, isn't it? I mean they want to get wickets early, and wickets often do fall early. No matter how good batsmen are. I mean, look, Kohli got...
It's just a really good ball.
Yeah, it is a really good ball, and if you get a really good ball, you get out. Look, Kohli got out first ball to an absolute cracker from Anderson. That's a really good delivery.
It's really the first kind of bit of indiscipline that Root's shown. Just fiddling slightly at one outside the off stump, and it just held its line. It didn't move away off the seam. It just kind of... It looked like it might come in, and it just held its line, carried straight on, and caught the outside edge. Very thin outside edge of Root's bat. Ollie Robinson now has a test average of 21, having made 42 in his first match, and then now has made, I think he made 2 or something in the last.
No, he didn't make 2. I thought he was out first.
Was he out for a duck?
Well, he was out for a duck. Yeah, he was one of the many out for a duck. He only lost about 3 balls.
But we saw that he can hit a ball. He can bat at 42 against New Zealand. That's no mean feat. As Mohammad Shami comes on at the other end to share the new ball with Jasprit Bumrah.
He's coming down fast and moving it too.
Shami round the wicket to the left-handed Curran. A short ball with the second new ball. His first go at the new nut, and he's bowled him a bouncer. And Curran has ducked underneath it with great respect and just got his gloves out the way. Siraj giving Shami a pat on the back, presumably say thank you for carrying on my good work of trying to take Curran's head off.
Yeah. I'm sure Sammy doesn't mind that much.
From his white ball career, I seem to remember he's actually quite an accomplished player of the short ball, as it's another short ball from Shami, trying to take the shine off this new ball early, presumably, it seems like. know what he's doing.
I think Sammy doesn't mind a pull shot, does he? He's a pretty accomplished batsman.
Yeah,
I did wonder whether, and this was a long shot, but he may not be a number 5, but you could put him up in the top 6 as an all-rounder. And therefore you
one here from Shami. No, it's another short one. Outside, well left alone by Curran. It was outside the off stump, quite wide. And no real danger there. 3 short balls with your first 3 balls with the second new ball. What do you make of that there?
Trying to bounce him out?
He's leaving every short ball he's had so far. He's left alone.
Well, exactly. Well, they're too short, aren't they? I mean, they're way too short. They're going miles over his head, or you're not going to play at those.
I just don't get it. You've got to pitch it up with the new ball, surely. Try and get some movement. And that is a bit fuller, and Curran has driven it away, and I think they'll just come through for 1 there. Yes, they will. And we're going to have a change at the end of the over. We're going to have Al moving on to ball by ball, Messi Jez on socials, and Hendo summarising. In 2 balls' time, you have all that to look forward to.
Yeah, you do indeed. We should have the batsman's jingle too.
Yes, we should.
So here's to you, Ollie Robinson. Dizzy loves you now, you change your tune. You're not a buffoon. How will you bowl, Ollie Robinson? No one took more county wickets than you.
Robinson on strike to Shami. And this is short, and Robinson plays it off the back foot, backward of square, and that's running away from the chasing Jasprit Bumrah, but he will catch up with it, and they'll come through for 2. Ollie Robinson coming off his first 5-fer in Test cricket in only his 2nd match. A wonderful display of bowling from him, and looks like he could be a bit of a handful.
Yeah, I think he, as a bowling potential, seems to have a lot.
Especially in a pitch with a bit of pace and bounce, like in Australia.
Yes.
Get nip off the seam. He's very good at nipping it back in, challenging the pads.
He's quite metronomic, isn't he?
As Shami is in to Robinson. That's down the leg side and whipped off the hip by Robinson, and that will run away for 4
Great
to finish
shot.
the over.
2 + 2 is our memory. 2 + 2 is our memory.
We shall hand over.
We shall.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Bear. I'm just going to bring you up to date with tweets, Hendo, before I pass it all over to you. Leah says, Bumrah, you absolute beauty, if not in the conventional attractiveness or fast bowling sense. It was a crackerjack of a delivery, wasn't it? It just didn't seem like it was something that Joe Root could leave alone.
No, I think that Bumrah was freshened up a little bit, because I was surprised that he let Mohammad Siraj bowl for so long. It wasn't really bowling that effectively. And then, of course, I looked at the screen, and you think you're 2 overs away or 3 overs away from the new ball, and you think, yes, that's what it's all about. And Bumrah seemed really fired up, didn't he? I think.
It certainly is. It will be Bumrah to continue, and he tries to bowl this across Curran's off stump, but Curran just plays that back to the bowler, and there'll be no run. Well, good afternoon, Hendo, and good afternoon, Jez. Good to see you.
Well, it's all about how many runs.
In the company of Cheshire's answers to John Arlott.
I need another bottle of red wine if that's the case.
Half a dozen, I'd say.
Oh, potentially. And that has gone across Curran. And Curran has just tried to play defensively, but he's not moved forward or backwards. He's been trapped on the crease, and it's gone whistle past the outside edge. And this is part of the puzzle that Bumrah offers. And like he's saying, Kohli's making offensive gestures about the lack of a forward defensive shot there from Curran in only the way that Kohli can and get away with it. Yeah, you seem trapped on the crease there, guys.
Well, you can do if your bowler's bowling at sort of really good length. You're not quite sure whether to go back or come forward.
That is too wide though, and it allows Curran to be able to be more expansive. Pushes that ball towards a deep point, and they will come back for 2. Curran will retain the strike. He's on 27. Robinson on 6. England 283 for 7, leading by 188. So, gents.
What time are we going till tonight? Is it 7:30 or 7 o'clock?
7:30, yeah.
7:30, okay. Right, so we've got a fair way to go. Got a couple of hours. I mean, you have to say, if they can get rid of these 3 England batsmen in quick time, then I would say India are big favourites.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Bumrah in. And Curran has fended this, and I think possibly a drop at 4th slip.
Yeah, just stood still for a moment, didn't they? All stood still and watched for a moment, as if there was a
just
sort of
that
worry.
moment of, did you catch it? And then there was second slip started chasing after the ball. But it's been a deliberate attempt to push the ball in that sort of backward square area, but he has managed to get a hand to it. I think it's Pujara. I think he's Rahane. Sorry, he's dropped it.
That's a great effort, actually. I mean, it would have been a hell of a catch.
Yeah, I mean, it's come right off the face of the bat. It's not been an edge there.
No.
Bumrah in and has squared Curran up in a way that I've never seen before. Curran went beyond square. It was as if his whole body had moved through like 270 degrees rather than. It's a very strange body position from Curran, and nevertheless the ball beats the outside edge and goes through to the keeper. And there'll just be 1 ball left of the over, but that seemed a very strange, certainly not out of the textbook, let's put it that way. Last ball of the over, and that is right on off stump, fended into the covers, no run. England are 285 for 7. Who is controlling social media?
Well, I'm on it. I've got no control whatsoever. Jay Grover says, serious? I know people always talk about the physics of swing, but do we know anything about the effect of the new ball on short bowling? How much damage does the friction cause?
I don't think we do know. I mean, just conventional wisdom would say you don't do it if you want to keep shine on the ball. But then maybe I don't know. Maybe they feel that the ball will move a little bit more when a bit of the shine is off it. I mean, that's another possibility. We have seen that quite a lot in tests recently. But it was strange bowling 3 short balls like that straight off.
And Shami is in again, and that is wide outside the off stump. And Robinson is persuaded to try and cut the ball away, but misses, and the ball dies on its way through to the keeper. A little bit of inconsistent bounce might be something that will keep the England bowlers interested as we move into the 4th innings.
Yeah, absolutely. The more they see of that, in one sense, the better. There hasn't been a huge amount of swing. There's definitely movement off the seam, or definitely movement off the pitch. It's not always the seam that the ball's being landed on. We've seen with the scrambled seam of someone like Siraj.
Shami in for the second ball of the over, and that is slightly closer to the stumps, and Robinson has timed that beautifully backward of square. It will be a chase and just managed to be able to be hauled in before the boundary, but I think they'll be taking 3, and Robinson will move on to 9. He timed that absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, played that really well. Yeah, exactly. He didn't actually try to hit that, really. He just presented the bat, let the ball hit the bat, and the timing did the rest.
You sound like Paddy McGuinness. Let the ball see the bat.
Introduce the ball to the bat. Ball, this is bat. Bat, this is ball. Well, normally when England batsmen, it's here, edge, here is ball. But that's more effective, I think. A really nice shot, yeah.
So, the lead is 193. We're going to come to the pessimist and the Australian in just a second to find out what their ideal leads would be. Oh. And Curran has gone all the way across his stumps to play a shot that would be completely in vogue in any T20 or shorter format that you wanted to be able to talk about. He went right across to his off stump to be able to try and hook the ball over his shoulder, makes partial contact, doesn't time it nearly as well as he might like, but maybe an indication that Curran has decided to seek the opportunity for runs. I can tell from Nigel's face, though, that this is not a ploy that is meeting with his full approval.
Well, I understand this. I mean, in a way, I understand the shot if you've got no one down there at long leg, but you have got someone down there. Maybe you wanted to get that more over the top of the wicketkeeper.
Robinson steps away and times that ball. It goes like a tracer bullet through the covers. What an amazing shot by Robinson. It's one of the drives of the day.
Tracer bullet.
4 runs, moving Robinson to 13. He does have a tendency to back away, but he stays low for a man of his size.
Well, he cleared the front leg, I think, and then just waited for it to come on. He's certainly good at his timing is good. He didn't lose the shape, having sort of thrown that front leg out of the way. He didn't just try to heave it; he just waited for it and timed it.
Yeah, we're.
I entirely get this approach. I mean, these guys have only played white ball cricket recently. Now is the time to actually put any skills that they've developed there into practice. This is dangerous time for India.
The short ball that Shami puts in for the 5th ball of the over is almost comical. Robinson is 6'7", 6'8", and can't make contact with the bat while holding the bat directly above his head with full arm extended. That must have been a good 8-9 feet above the ground as it goes over the bat.
Should have been a wide, really. I mean, I was trying to play the upper cut, wasn't he? It wasn't. It was too high, really.
Wide of the crease, last ball of the over, and that seamed away beautifully. Too good for Robinson and his outside edge. A great comeback from Shami there at the end of the over. 293 for 7. Jez.
So, Armchair Cricket Podcast says a critical breakthrough for India to get root. That partnership with Curran was looking unperturbed and could have added a lot more. However, having a lead of 180, England are looking increasingly comfy, and 220 plus they'll be ahead of the game. Jay Grover says, also just found out Robinson is a public schoolboy. After being needlessly bullied by Grubby today about my background, I'm not surprised by Ollie's thuggish buffoonery. I think you took that much too personally, Jay. I don't think he was bullying you. I just think you felt bullied because you wanted to feel bullied. Warren says he's multitasking. You in one ear, talk sports, Lions versus Saffers in the other ear, and Olympics on telly. Good work, Warren. That's what I like to see. Ness is a past master of that. And Jay Grover, the pessimist and the Australian. Edward Deer's off his game these days.
Umrah is in for the first ball of his over. He's bowling around the wicket to Curran, outside the off stump, which Curran is just able to push into the covers, and there'll be no run. So, gents, what would make you feel comfortable as a lead going into India's second innings if you were England captain? 198 is the current total.
Well, it's not just about the lead, it's about how much time there is, isn't it? How much time there's left.
Yeah.
And as you say, we've still got 2 hours tonight if the weather stays fine and bright
like
enough. Well, it does at the moment, but those clouds can come in quite quickly. So it's a difficult one to say. The moment leads 198 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hendo wants at least 350.
And it's been hit skyward by Curran, but it's landed like a soft sand wedge, gently where no batsman no fielder can find it. It was a mistimed shot certainly, and Curran lucky to get away with it and to take 2. Certainly giving the bowlers some degree of enthusiasm that the next foul shot is out there as England's lead reaches 200.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the approach at the moment. He's definitely trying to play some innovative shots, is Curran. I'm not sure whether it's completely necessary at this stage, unless they're looking for a declaration tonight or something.
Possibly. That ball is on the hip of Curran. He tries to play it towards the leg side, gets a leading edge into the covers, tries and thinks about a quick single, but is quickly sent back by Robinson. And in the end, it all means that there's no run.
I don't want to get too excited about Curran. I mean, his batting and the talk of pushing him up the order. I think he's doing a really good job where he is. You might talk about that in general. He could go at 7. He's getting turned around quite a bit here by Bumrah, but Bumrah is bowling very well. And he's got a new ball. This is a number 8 facing the new ball.
Yeah, this is not often something we see, and that is tucked him up for room.
He's gone.
And he's gone. I saw Jadeja try to throw the ball down at the stumps, and so automatically thought that it'd bounced of some description, but it was it had cramped him up for room. He'd swung through the line, took a leading edge, and it was Jadeja at mid-on who has taken about as comfortable a catch as you can take at that particular section. He hasn't had to move a muscle.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed by that. I'm really not quite sure what the England approach is. I mean, you could argue that it's a positive one, and that they want to give maybe get India in under the lights and the dark clouds tonight. But a lead of 200 with a full day to go it's not really one that you would feel comfortable with. I mean, you talk about what would you feel comfortable with. Obviously, as you say, Messi Jez, I would be comfortable with 300, but we're probably not going to get that. But I can only assume that a message came out from the dressing room with Ollie Robinson to actually get on with it and see what we get in the next half an hour or so, and maybe get India in tonight. So that's really all I can think.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think they're thinking, 10 overs against India tonight would actually be really handy overs.
And it's a risk, isn't it, as well? Because, India could get off to a good start and get themselves, 30 or 40 runs tonight, take 30 or 40 runs out of that equation. Now, if you want to look back at the New Zealand series, England were criticised greatly for not going after that chase on the last day and being very negative. I wonder now whether England are trying to win back some sort of love from crowd in actually taking the game to India a little bit.
I do apologise. I misidentified the fielder. It wasn't Jadeja, it was Siraj. So my apologies to all concerned.
I'm wondering if Siraj gave Curran the send-off as having taken that rather easy catch.
It seemed like he tried to throw down the stumps at Robinson's end.
Well, I don't know. It's all a bit strange what's going out there. We never know what is being said. I mean, we can make speculative guesses, but as I say, it does appear to me that Curran started playing some rather weird and wonderful shots, and Ollie Robinson also. So I can only presume that England are trying to set India up for 220 or something and get them in tonight.
Can we activate the Twitter klaxon? Is Stuart Broad batting?
Well, it's hardly worth it, is it? He's probably not going to be batting for very long.
It's come up, and it was tweeted 2 minutes ago. So there you go.
So over under 5 runs for Stuart Broad.
Over actually today. He's going to get an overfly slip for 6.
Hendo?
Oh, how many for Stuart Broad today?
Over under 4.5 runs for Stuart Broad.
I'm going to go over. I want to see him carve a couple of or maybe pull a couple of sixes. He's quite good at that. But I don't think Jasprit Bumrah's going to give him an opportunity. He got rid of him very quickly, didn't he, in the first innings with a swinging Yorker. So, it really isn't just down to Stuart Broad just flailing with the bat. It's about how well Bumrah bowls. And now Bumrah's got 2 wickets with this new ball.
I don't know how much of the Olympics you've seen, Hendo, but there was a sport called kata karate where they were fighting an invisible opponent. I believe Stuart Broad would be brilliant at kata cricket. But Bumrah in, and that is a leg stump Yorker, and Bumrah has cleaned him up. You were 4.5 runs short of your 4.5 run target, Stuart Broad. 1 ball. Activate the klaxon. Stuart Broad is no longer batting. England are 290.
Just fuck off!
That was the funniest thing. Oh dear.
Off the pad, ever so gently, into middle and leg stump. Bye-bye.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to get a little bit ranty about England here. I mean, that was a good ball. It's too good for Stuart Broad. I understand that, but I just don't know what's been going on in the last few minutes. It seems to me as if England were doing really well, and then they've kind of thrown it away, unless they're about to declare now. The lead is only 200. It's a hat-trick ball. It's Jimmy Anderson coming in to face it. Ollie Robinson might not get to face another ball. I don't know what's been said to Curran or brought out by Ollie Robinson, but but I think it's all a little bit wrong. I mean, England have got themselves into a position where they could get at least a draw from this game, and they seem to have just got a little bit crazy in the last few overs.
Just a little bit overexcited.
Yeah, but I mean, it was so obvious. Quite often when we've seen England looking to set a declaration and we're saying, come on, play some shots. Why are they not playing some shots? And they just went for it suddenly. That first shot that Curran played, where he went right across outside his off stump to Shami coming round the wicket and tried to scoop it.
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was just like he was playing crazy cricket. It was like an IPL game.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
No, it's. I'm not entirely, because the hard work of the day's been done. It's like, if anything, you're looking to be able to try and see it through to the end of the evening, to be able to declare with maybe 5-10 overs left to go, or declare overnight and have fresh bowlers the following morning. But to do it at this stage, knowing how long is left in the day, like you said, it just seems just a bit weird, really.
Well, I mean, you're almost saying, okay, if Anderson was to get out here, you are also almost saying to India, with a very pretty talented batting lineup, you've got 4 sessions to score 200,
and we think we can get you out for less. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose, and I suppose you've got to be, in a sense, if that is the outlook, you've got to be admiring of it, but I don't know. I mean, it's like this England team. It swings from one thing to another and doesn't really seem to, have a solid game plan. It's strange. Now, what's going on? Kohli is chatting to Anderson. I'm not sure what that was all about.
The umpire has turned around to Anderson and said, "Can we get a move on?" I think it may have something to do with what was going on with Anderson and Siraj earlier on in the game.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, we've got a hat-trick ball. Jasprit Bumrah into Jimmy Anderson. That is a Yorker length delivery, and Anderson has taken a big stride forward and has a smile as big as a Cheshire cat as he lets that ball go straight back to the bowler, and there'll be no run. As if to say, nice try, pal. Well bowled before, but there shall be no hat-trick.
He was trying to say, look, I'm a better left-handed tail-ender than Stuart Broad.
Yeah, I should be batting at 10, goddammit.
Yeah, what on earth is going on? This, of course, is the ground where Jimmy Anderson got his test best of 81.
Not on a wicket like this, though.
Not on a wicket like this, it has to be said. He's still got a ball to go. I thought it was the end of the over.
I thought it was the end of the over too. I was about to throw it over to Jez on a tweet. But we'll see this ball, and then we'll send it over Jez's way. That is much better. Just bounces over the top of off stump and middle stump, and just about beats the bat of Jimmy Anderson. Well, too good for a number 11. Too good for most frontline batsmen. A tremendous over from Bumrah. He's got his fifer, and the lead's 200. Jez.
Okay, before I get on to tweets, I've got to say to Hendo, you should never apologise to our listeners for having a rant. Tens of thousands of them are sitting there waiting for the next Hendo rant.
I didn't even think it was that ranty, to be honest.
It's part of the product.
Well, it is. But the thing is, if you rant too much, then it becomes less effective, doesn't it?
True.
So you kind of got to know when to fight your battles on the rant front.
Knowing that the rant button can go all the way up to 11, man. That seemed like a solid 5 or 6. Jez, I'm going to let you come in between balls. All right.
Okay. Yep.
Shami wide of the crease, and Robinson stands and clears his front leg and tries to smear that ball back to the grandstand, but swings and misses, and there'll be no run.
Josie Oak asks what would be a good lead, which we discussed. Jay Grover says Robinson's 6'5", and it's true that he's not really angry, but that's a secret. And of course, Josie Oak said we're doomed, and Jay Grover said he just spat beer. Could have been any number of things we said. I suspect.
Yeah, I'd imagine it could be. Shami in again, short ball wide. Robinson ducks, pant dives, can't get there, and they are wide. 4.
Went through to the keeper, and somehow we let it through, straight through the keeper, went through the keeper.
That really didn't go through the keeper.
Yeah,
the keeper was diving about. He'd need to have arms 15 feet long to have got hold of that.
Rashad Pant looked like an 8-year-old in a full-size football goal there. I had no chance of being able to be able to stop that. Shami in, next ball, and Robinson actually plays a legitimate shot and gets runs for it. There's a novelty. Through to the covers. 2 Indian fielders nearly collide, and there'll be 2 runs taken.
Sorry, Jake Grover says I've just realised I'm a master of kata karate at about 6 a.m. every morning. Then I knock myself out and sleep until noon with a concussion.
Do you get a concussion substitute? That's the point. That's the point.
Someone shall sleep on your behalf.
Oh dear.
It was the weirdest thing to watch. Shami in. Ooh. And Robinson tries to again take his eye. He tries to pull the ball, but takes his eye off it. Shami apologises, but I mean, it's. I think we're going to have a bit of a timeout here. I think it might have hit Robinson on the helmet, so there'll be your usual precaution safety check, as there should be.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's handy. Actually, getting those buys, those wides rather, is handy. Oh, that's really clocked him quite nastily, hasn't it?
It's on the chin, isn't it? It's not. There's not much protection where that's hit him in and around the head.
Well, I think the gorilla's done its job to a certain extent there. Otherwise, it'd be there'd be quite a big cut, and I don't think there is. He's actually, funnily enough, he's pointing to his forehead. I mean, whether that's to do with the actual helmet. Hitting his head on the inside, the actual movement of the helmet, rather than where the actual ball hit him. I don't think it hit him that high, but he seems to be all right. He's being tested, isn't he? He's being asked some questions by the physio, and he's just nodding and he's shaking his head, and I think he's going to be all right. He's just going to need a new helmet.
Do you know where you are? Yep, Trent Bridge. Do you know what you're doing? Yeah, I'm playing cricket. Do you know your name? Yep, Batman. He's fed. Free to go. Yeah, he's moved his head back the more he's gone through the shot. I wouldn't suggest that. I mean, certainly the tactic of ducking out of that short ball might be something that Ollie Robinson wants to think about in future. But he's having as is something that should be done. He's taking his time, little drink.
Yeah. He would have smashed his jaw if he hadn't had the helmet on, wouldn't it?
I mean, absolutely.
We wouldn't be commentating on any more of the day. They'd be picking bits of him out the ground.
Yeah.
Is that Ollie Pope running out with a couple of? No, it isn't. Is it? No.
Could be.
Could be. Yeah. Should we get through some tweets while we're waiting?
So Josie Oak is trying to stir you up. Put on the Hundy and Hendo can commentate. O'Neill Harris says, I love a Hendo rant. And Jay Grover says, it's not often I feel sympathy for Graham Swan, but it's genuine fear. But when Anderson was approaching his highest test score on that Trent Bridge wicket, I felt the worry.
He couldn't bear to see Jimmy Anderson get 81.
Yeah. That's what it is. All right. Lurking Lima says, one of the reasons I prefer you to the other side is the rant. It shows that you care about the results rather than just commentating because it's a job. That and you don't have Vaughan.
Yeah, that's always a good one. Not having Vaughan is probably one of the most important things that brings listeners to us. Not having Vaughan.
Multifaceted, multi-talented.
Yes. Warren says Rishabh Pant is ready to bat and sends us a picture of someone wearing star-shaped sunglasses.
He probably could bat in those. He probably could.
Yeah. And Jay Grover says even the cruelest of government employment agencies shouldn't force someone to substitute into my life.
Well, we'll tell them. We'll tell them not to send the concussion substitute around.
Or maybe they're already there, Jay.
And you just don't know it.
Maybe Jay is the substitute.
Yeah. This could all get a bit meta. If you know that we know that they know that we know, then oh no.
Oh dear! I think we would have noticed if Jay had changed his tone dramatically, and it's been pretty consistent for
maybe
about 8 years.
Maybe you're a concussion substitute too.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now you tell.
Well,
That
Yeah.
would explain. Oh no, I won't tell
Have you been injured? Have you been injured with an accident or a fall that wasn't your fault? A new helmet on the head of Robinson. Shammy in to bowl the next ball of this now protracted over, doing nothing for the run rate. But this is full length delivery on the legs, and Robinson tucks that down to long leg, and will take a. It will not take a single.
He's going to take the bowling.
A wise move, maybe.
It was a good attempt by Mohammed Shami. I mean, I was thinking he was going to bowl another bump bouncer, but he tried for the in-swinging Yorker, just got slightly offline, so it was, in the end, angling down the leg side. But intelligent cricket.
Certainly is. Wide of the crease, and that has been outside edged and caught at fly slip / third man. An uglyish hoik by Robinson, trying to accelerate the run rate. A big outside edge. Normally third man is vacant. This time it wasn't, and it's been gobbled up, and England are all out. And the chase begins right now.
Well, it creates the space for the rest of Hendo's round.
Well, it does a little bit. I mean, why turn around a single and get out like that the next ball? It seems a bit odd. Ollie Robinson is running off. England have obviously got a plan here. They think they've got enough. I mean, whether that is informed by those batsmen that have been out there today. I mean, Joe Root as captain has been out there for a long time, over 4 hours, or was out there for over 4 hours. And he may think the pitch is doing enough that it will be tricky for India, especially if the cloud cover comes in tonight and they've got them under lights and they've got a Jimmy Anderson firing. I mean, England are going to have to look to not just Anderson and not just Robinson. They need something more from Broad in this innings if they're going to ensure victory. But they've certainly left the door open for India to win this. I suppose you should say that's good competitive Test cricket. You've given them a chance, but you're saying we think we can bowl you out. So I won't rant about it too much until India gets to
209.
And then I might let it rip.
Right, let's go through the scorecard. First wicket to fall, Rory Burns, 37 was on the scorecard. Burns had made 18 when he edged a really good ball from Siraj going across him back behind the stumps to Rishad Pant. Zach Crawley was the next to go, and we were 46 when England were 46 when Crawley edged and kind of flicked the outside of his bat to an outside edged one again behind to Rishad Pant. A good stand between Dom Sibley and Joe Root, if not necessarily the fastest paced combination between the two. The score had moved on to 135 when Sibley inside edged one and Pant took a great catch behind the stumps. Sibley out for 28. Bairstow came to the stumps and looked relatively comfortable for 30 until he pulled a rank long hop from Siraj right down the throat of Jadeja, deep square leg. Dan Lawrence came in next and he looked reasonably comfortable, although he was kind of fed some balls down the leg side for him to be able to feast on. He'd got as far as 25 and the score 211 when basically he missed a straight one, didn't he, Hendo? And he missed a straight one by some considerable distance.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was a real shame. He was beginning to play some shots, wasn't he? I mean, technically, yes, he's very leg side biased. And there was a couple of shots, wasn't there, against Mohammed Shami where he was trying to almost walking the drive and getting beaten. But he was just beginning to look reasonably good. And then, as you say, he's just missed a straight one. And you wonder whether it's about that initial trigger movement that he makes. And he pushes the leg over a little bit too early. Mm-hmm. And then finds he can't reach round in front of himself to play it. And, that's something he's got to look at.
Root and Butler had taken England through to tea, and then Butler missed a straight one. Second ball after tea, he left the ball from Thakur and was bowled.
I don't think you can say he missed a straight ball. He just left a straight ball.
He just left one, didn't he? Yeah.
Second ball after tea, wasn't it? I think second or third ball.
Second or third ball after tea. Very, very close after the resumption. Sam Curran came in and did really well and helped Root to his century. It was Root who was the next to go in the first over after the new ball. He edged a good ball from Bumrah, not one that Root will probably think he could have left alone, but probably in the moment felt that he couldn't leave alone. He was out for 109. Robinson came in after Root was out. Nice partner, nice little mini partnership. But then, as we've been talking about in the last sort of 10 minutes, there seemed to be a complete change in the mindset from Curran and Robinson, from singles and twos being able to be played around to being a bit more expansive, a bit more what we might describe as one-day shots. Curran was cramped for room by Bumrah and dollied up a really simple catch to Siraj at mid-on. Broad was out first ball to a leg stump Yorker that was too quick and too straight for him, and then the last hit to fall, Robinson with an ugly hoik and a massive outside edge that went all the way down to Rahane down at third man. He made 15. Anderson not out, 0, 23 extras, 303 all out.
I suppose we should have a look at the bowling as well, really, because you could say Jasprit Bumrah's done well there, finally getting rid of Root, which seemed to open up something in England in regards to the way that they were playing. Let's just have a look at those figures. Jasprit Bumrah ended with 19 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 64. Mohammad Siraj was just getting a little bit too chatty with one or two England batsmen for no particular reason, just because he thinks he's a mean fast bowler. 25 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 84. Mohammed Shami gets that final wicket, so he finally does get something in the wickets column. 15.5 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 72. So quite expensive, going at 4.54 and over. Shardul Thakur, dismissed by Jack as a bit of a non-entity, decided to pick up a couple of wickets. 13 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 37. And Ravi Jadeja never really looked like he was doing anything apart from allowing England to go along at 2 or 3 and over. 13 overs, 3 maidens, none for 39. I guess the question is, what do we all think individually about England's approach in that last sort of half an hour or so? Bear, I think you'll have some views on this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty shit, Hendo.
Really? Because I thought you'd be saying, well, this is quite good because England think they can bowl.
Well, no, I think you had to there's still enough time left in the game. You have to assume that there's going to be no rain, and therefore you have to get as many runs as possible. So you bat as orthodoxly as possible until you get to Broad and Anderson coming in. I think that Curran and once Root went, Curran and Ollie Robinson should have batted properly.
Yes. And they did for a little bit. But
they took too many chances. There was no need to do that. Maybe they thought because it's a new ball, we're going to get one with our name on it sooner or later. But it didn't look that way, to be fair.
Well, that's kind of very defeatist, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're good enough batsmen to at least have an attempt at survival against the new ball, against even these world-class bowlers. They're not rabbits in the way that Anderson, to a certain extent, and Broad has become. So I think I agree with you. Messi, what do you think?
Well, I think they were really in white ball mode because they've played a bit of white ball. They've seen that they can make quite a few runs quite quickly if they're lucky, and thought, well, let's go for this, because hanging around means that there will be one with our name on it pretty quickly, and it's a new ball, so it'll go hard and fast. But I think this is an awful lot different from white ball cricket, and I don't think they're accustomed to it, to be honest.
I think it's sensible. Let's bring in Jack. I mean, Jack normally has an alternative opinion.
Well, we're supposed to have a change now. I think
we are going to change. It's Jack, me, and the Bear.
Yep.
Farewell.
Alan,
see you next week, everybody.
See you later.
Thanks, Al. Cheers.
All right.
And what do I think?
What do you think?
I think they were batting against a new ball. They added 30 after Joe Root fell, which isn't too bad considering 2 of those wickets, James Anderson and
Stuart Broad.
Yeah, it's probably par. Like I get to some extent. I thought Curran going for the scoop shot slightly odd, slightly incongruous with what was going on. I thought he was playing quite well, and Robinson can bat. So I think that particular partnership a bit odd, and I'm not really sure what happened with Curran when he was out. I don't know what he was trying to do with that ball.
I think he got a bit big on him a bit quick.
I think he did get big on him, but I think he was just in the mode where he was going to play a shot to every ball pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was just he just couldn't play a shot to that ball. It was too good. it really cramped him up for room. Well, England are out there, and Joe Root is standing in the huddle directly opposite Jimmy Anderson. Root is doing the talking, Anderson's doing the nodding, and we will have the two Indian batsmen. They're chasing 209 to win this first Test match at Trent Bridge, and they're on their way out to the middle. Shall we jingle up the batsman, Bear?
Well, we can jiggle up the batsman. We have this man.
Kochaya Wadna, Popkula Sacra, when I'm 264.
And this man.
Yes, it's the King legend himself. He's out there. More of a legend, I would say, is Rohit Sharma in what he's done in cricket over an extended period of time. But he batted really well, Rahul, in the first innings, made 80. He was a little bit lucky. A couple of catches went down, but also a very attractive innings when he was given the chance to play some shots. It's going to be Jimmy Anderson. Who else to open the bowling?
As you can see, we've had our eye on you for some time now, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Well, they're not over-attacking. They've got two slips in the gully. It is quite gloomy out there. And Anderson will be annoyed if he finds an outside edge and it goes through third slip. So I'm not sure that I wouldn't have one more in there, but he hasn't. If you believe you can bowl this team out, you surely got to be a bit more attacking. But anyway, Anderson's going to open the innings, and he's in, and he bowls to Rahul, who comes onto the front foot and defends into the offside, squarish, and there is no run. If you're just joining us, the target for India in about an hour and a half, if we get it tonight, plus a full 3 sessions tomorrow, weather permitting. Certainly in terms of time, India ought to get this.
Yeah.
But it's all about England bowling them out before they do that. Here is Anderson again, 4 wickets in the first innings. He bowls to Rahul. Rahul plays well inside the line, bat behind the pad. It's outside off stump. It goes through to Butler, and there is no run.
Nice early wicket would be a wonderful thing, Hendo.
Well, it would. And then, of course, you've got the chance of bringing Virat Kohli in on a king pair.
Oh, wouldn't that be
That'd
sweet?
be the day.
Wouldn't it, Jack?
Well, here I'm sort of betraying my pessimism here by suggesting something optimistic. Anderson in, bowls a beauty. Root goes up, thinks initially there might have been an edge, but there wasn't. But that was a very good leg cutter. And in fact, I think that Rahul missed it by quite a way, actually.
Now, the interesting thing is, do you think that Brody will open the other end, or do you think he's going to go with Robinson?
It's a good question, isn't it? Robinson hurried off as if he wanted to get his pads off quickly. Tricky one. Anderson in again to Rahul. Rahul's beaten by that one, and this time Root thinks it definitely has brushed the glove on the way through. He comes running towards Anderson. Anderson looks all a bit quizzical, and Root thinks I've made a bit of a fool of myself here, haven't I?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't near that one either. But it was a cracking delivery.
It was a cracking delivery. A few more of those. Now, it was interesting that the excuse made on the TV was that when Broad and Anderson didn't really bowl much in the first innings together at the start, it was that they both wanted to be at the same end.
Ah, okay.
Which
I think that's right. I think that Anderson started off on the first day. Oh, sorry, second day it would have been, wouldn't it? Bowling from the pavilion and then switched to the Radcliffe Road end, which is where he got Kohli and Pujara. This is close to off stump, and Rahul is right forward. The ball just almost stops stone dead about 2 feet in front of him, and there is no run.
And we've had news from the ground from Knuckle that maybe Broad has brought back the headband.
Oh, is that what's been lacking?
Possibly.
That could be it, couldn't it?
Maybe he's got.
All is well with the world now. He's got the headband back.
Exactly. Maybe he's gone all
so England should walk this. Here's Anderson again into Raoul. He's going to go run here as he just strays onto leg stump. He's got 2 men back, one at long leg and one deep backward square. They're just going to settle for the single. Robinson was the man doing the fielding. And at the end of the first over, Raoul has got a single. India have got a single. It's 1-0. Jack.
Yeah, just a couple of tweets at the moment. We've got one from Jay Grover who's asking, when does play finish, because he wants to watch the proms at 6:30. 7:30 I think is the end of the day play.
That's what we've been told.
Jay Grover, concussions, I've shat them. So
what?
Yeah,
I don't know what that's all about.
It's like a cryptic Jay Grover message, and that's it. I'm in the process of loading up YouTube now, so at the end of the next over we should have some stuff there.
Okay.
Or hopefully we will, anyway.
Okay, jolly good. It is going to be Stuart Broad,
well,
the man with 523 wickets, and he's got a jingle that goes like this.
Well, he's got a headband, so he's got a jingle that goes like this.
Oh, yeah.
Sweep the leg, Brody. Got the best headband around. Something has gotta keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego ain't gonna be kept down. Got the best headband around. Even though your hair is thinning now.
He's really got into the Karate Kid thing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was wondering, do you think the headband keeps the cricket intelligence in? And when he doesn't have it, it spills out and leaves him short of cricketing intelligence. We shall see. He's only got 2 slips as well, and he's going to be bowling to Rahul. He's up past the umpire, and he bowls, and he plays inside the line of that, and carries through at shoulder height to Joss Buttler. That will be encouraging. He's got a nice new shiny cherry in his hands, and we really need, well, England really need, a good spell, one of those broad spells where he goes and gets 2 or 3 quick wickets.
That'd be nice. That was a scrambled seam, and Siraj got it to do extravagant things off a scrambled seam.
Broad is
which
a good interesting,
exponent.
isn't it? We talk about seam bowlers, not really using the seam in the way that you would think. Full and driven into the offside. There is a man out at deep backward point. He's going to have to make some ground to get around to that, and I don't think he's going to make it. It's that little bit of the ground where it comes round at an angle in front of that, or the newest of the stands, I think it is out there, and he's got 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a little bit too full.
Yep. Well, this is something that Jimmy Anderson was talking about after England had bowled at India for the, I think, was it what day it was it on the second day? And he was saying, actually, you've got to be careful about bowling too full on this pitch because people can drive, and that seems to have been borne out, doesn't it? We've seen a lot of really pleasant cover and off drive on this pitch. In comes Broad again, shorter, but on the line of leg stump, clipped to mid wicket. And Raoul seems a bit in pain of some sort. Has he done something to a calf muscle or something? He's definitely gritting his teeth. It's gone a little bit dark and gloomy. There is still some blue sky, but there's quite a big mass of black cloud more or less over the back of the Radcliffe Road stand, and the lights are well and truly on. Maybe that's what England wants to take advantage of. Darkness and the lights. In comes Broad again, bowls too wide outside the off stump. And Butler is confused by this because that hit the gloves very hard indeed and quite high, and he kind of sort of staggers in surprise at how much that ball is jumping on its way through to him. But decent start. If you can get that a little bit straighter, then Raoul could be in trouble. 5 for no wicket is the score. The target is 209. It's an absorbing test match. Weather forecast for tomorrow, not good. Broad is in again, bowls shorter at the last minute. Raoul, who's going back to defend, whips the bat out of the line of the ball, and through it goes again to Butler. Yeah, I just had a look at the weather for tomorrow. It's 100% chance of precipitation, but I'm not quite sure whether that means all day.
That's not what I've got.
Oh, really? I just put Nottingham weather in there, and I got 18 degrees and 100% precipitation. Let's try again.
On the Met Office, it says there's almost certainly going to be some rain around noon, but they're not exactly sure when, by the looks of it.
Okay, well, I'll look at see what the BBC is saying as well. Broad in again, or he gets that leg cutter to go, but it started too wide, so Raul not particularly discomforted by it. It's the end of his first over, an encouraging one, and India are 5 for no wicket. Jack.
Yeah. Over on the YouTube, Luke Hallahan has said, "Hi Jack," so hi Luke. Come on England, Root needs to go super attacking. And where's the Bishop today?
You know, I don't quite know where the Bishop is, but I mean, he does tend to go missing on Saturday afternoons in the football season. And while the Premier League hasn't started, I wonder whether Watford had some sort of glamour friendly going on that he was popping down to. The umpires are looking with some sort of consternation at the overhead conditions, so we may unfortunately not get a lot of cricket tonight because the light is closing in. That said, it might still go over as well, so they might yet get back out again if they do have to go off. Anderson's just fiddling with the ball, just tossing it from hand to hand. He's waiting for Rohit Sharma to be ready to receive his first delivery of the second innings, and Root is keen for Anderson to get at him, and in he comes and bowls when he finds the outside edge. Ooh. But it goes a little bit in the air, but short of the man at Gully, Burns. But again, that will encourage Anderson. Just wondering how much is this pitch a new ball pitch? We've talked about that quite a lot. I mean, that jumped and came right off the shoulder of the bat, or even the handle, as Rohit was quite reasonably going forward to it, and it was in the air for a while. Burns did quite well to scramble across and prevent it going for runs. Anderson in again, outside off stump. Rohit wants a single as he just tucks us into the leg side, but Dominic Sibley, I think, is the man around there at mid-wicket. Does that mean Sibley's been taken out of the slip cordon after his drop of Raul in the first innings? It looks like it, because we just got the two. We got Root at first slip and Crawley at second. So Sibley has been the man who's taken the rap. Of course, Root put down an easy catch there as well. Lovely ball from Anderson. That's an absolute corker. It lifts and it leaves him, and it almost brushes the shoulder of the bat on its way through to the wicketkeeper Butler.
We're currently, if they go off a bad line and don't come back on, Mark Selleck is going to win the GPL.
Oh really? So what? How many entries did we have?
We have 40.
40?
Yeah.
That's a world record.
And most of them have gone. Selleck's the only man left in. He's got numbers 283, 286, 290, 293, 295, 298, 302 and 304. The only numbers left in.
Anderson in, and that's beautifully played by Rohit, flicked into the onside through mid-wicket. I perhaps thought he timed that better than he had. It didn't travel that quickly, and the man at deep backward square came round and prevented anything more than the single. But Rohit is underway. India chasing 209, have reduced that now by 6 without loss. Brings Raul back down to face Anderson. He's got also a backward point in addition to the two slips in the gully, a wide-ish mid-off, somewhere between mid-off and extra cover, isn't he? He's not really either. Mid-on, mid-wicket and a long leg. A deep backward square for sure. Anderson in, bowls full and driven straight through where an orthodox mid-off would be. But as he's not orthodox, he's now going to chase this all the way to the boundary, and it's going to be 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
So Rahul moves to 10, second boundary for him, and very nicely played indeed. Well, it is confusing. I understand the confusion of people with regards to field placings, because there's mid-off and there's extra cover, and then there's this guy standing between the two, not quite sure what he's doing really, and he's a bit too close, I think, for a genuine mid-off or extra cover. It's a strange one. Maybe it's.
They were saying after this ball, I'll fill you in.
Oh, okay, good. Anderson in again, bowls defended on the front foot by Raul. Square on the offside. Bairstow fields a back point. End of the over. 10 for no wicket. Fill me in.
They were saying on the pitch report earlier today that they thought this wicket would become a little bit up and down, a little bit too paced today because it's got some divots in it from deliveries from earlier in the match.
Right.
And Atherton was speculating that it might be a day for catchers in front of the wicket and not for slip fielders. So perhaps the man lurking a little bit too close, not really being at mid-off, not really being at extra cover is an Atherton-esque field placing.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there was what was it? Who was it? Took a catch. It was Bairstow in the first innings, wasn't it? The Rishabh Pant at a sort of shortish extra cover. I mean, he's not as short as that. He's a little bit further back than that. But sorry, I was just smiling because I saw Jay Grover's tweet come through about me wanting money on the GPL and whatever, and how much it upsets him. Anyway, we'll come to that at some point. It's 10 for no wicket. It's going to be Rowett. We have got a few tweets. We'll come to those as soon as we can. But Broad is about to start his second over. He's steaming in to bowl to Rowett, and Rowett wrapped on the thigh pad. Broad follows through and then tries to scuff the ball with his foot onto the stumps, but no need. Rowett certainly wasn't outside his crease. Well, they're playing on for the moment and just hoping that really dark low cloud is going to skirt round, or at least just clear from over the top of the ground. But, I'm sure that India will be more than happy to go off at this stage because, as I say, they've still got 3 sessions, weather permitting tomorrow, to win the game. Rowett settles down again, and the head-banded Broad is on his approach to the stumps. He's in, he bowls, and dragged a little bit. The bat turned in the hand as Rowett played his defensive shot there, went to Lawrence at mid-wicket, and there is no run. Maybe just squeeze a tweet or two in while we're between balls.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jay Grover from a little while ago now says, "What? I did not say this about the proms." Thanks, Jay. Harriet Atkinson said, "If I can add up, I think I need 39 runs for the GPL. 272. Last guess out of 5. I had a massive win on the Euro Millions last night, £2.40. But as the tickets cost £2.50, I'd call that a 10p loss."
Down the leg side and a little bit too short. Although that said, I'm not sure that he got bat on that. It might have come off thigh pad. Indeed, it has. It is signalled a leg bye. So India move on to 11 for no wicket.
No. She can't be right there because England scored 303 and they were 25 overnight. So 278 runs are scored so far in the day for England, and now 11 here. So we're on 289.
Well, that was 10 minutes ago. That was 10 minutes ago, Bear. So maybe at that point.
Yeah,
no, it does seem unlikely. She was saying they needed 39 runs, so I think someone's got their wires crossed.
Yeah, she's got
as we've seen, the Bear and maths don't go together. Short leggers come in, and it's bowled short by Broad. My picture unfortunately broke up a little bit at that moment. I think it just was Raul ducking underneath it, and there is no run. It's Dan Lawrence, I think, who's come in there. It's more a short square leg, isn't it, than short leg? A little bit more distant than a genuine short leg, I would say, slightly, just in front of square. There's also a man back at deep square. You can see Dominic Sibley there. In comes Broad, bowls it short, and it swings. It swings a long way after it's gone past Raul, who didn't need to play a shot at it. So 11 for no wicket. 209 was the target at the outset. They're now under 200. They need 198 to win. And well, it's intriguingly poised, but England will feel that they need a couple of wickets tonight going into tomorrow's cricket. We've still got an hour and a quarter on the clock tonight. as Anderson, Broad is in again. It's another short one.
And we've lost Hendo.
Oh, we've got a couple of tweets that we can get through. Well, maybe he comes back. Jay Grover, as someone who watched many terrible action movies during the 80s, Broad's victory is now ensured. Ensured? What's ensured mean?
Ensured, I don't know.
Is that in reference to the headband? I assume so. And
I
Jay
presume
Grover
so.
again. I've never been involved in the GCL, but now I want Selleck to win, merely to deny Hendo's grifting ways. Bastard shower curtain.
Oh yeah, he's a very bitter shower curtain buyer. But they are brilliant shower curtains. Some people say they're a bit pricey, but you know, you're getting top quality.
It's specialist.
Getting top quality, aren't you?
For those interested in rugby, by the way, we're coming down to the last half of the Lions versus South Africa, and the Lions are 10-6 up.
Now, Anderson starts to new over, and Rowett is looking to turn that into the onside, and it swings. He gets to a little bit of a leading edge, but nothing to be too worried about as it shoots out towards Johnny Bairstow at backward point. It wasn't in the air for very long, but Anderson will have been pleased with the fact that he produced a false shot from Rowett. Sorry, I had to go away for a moment because I was about to cough, and I didn't want to upset sensitive souls like Jay Grover by hacking into his ear. Anderson into his third over, bowls to Rowett. Rowett's forward to this one. It just comes back into him ever so slightly, catches the inside half of the bat, and then runs towards mid wicket. And again, they eschew the opportunity for a single. 11 for no wicket. Anderson none for 6. Raoul has 9. Rowett's just the single. And these two combined in a very good stand in the first innings. 97 for the first wicket, which I think was their highest opening stand since 2007, wasn't it? Anderson in, bowls, and right forward this time, Rohit Sharma, and defends back to the bowler. Was that stat just about against England, or was it India's opening stands since 2007 against all comers? I wasn't sure. Can't quite remember. Did read about it, but it has now departed my rather open sort of brain. In comes Anderson. Slips go down, and this one is a little bit back of a length, defended to mid wicket, who is in quickly, preventing thoughts of a run, and the score remains 11 for no wicket.
How many do you reckon they'll give them 5 each? You want to get Sammy Curran in while the ball's reasonably new. If he's going to get anything, it's going to be early, you'd have thought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult, I think, as a captain, when you've got two guys with the reputation and the number of wickets that they've got. You don't want to get them out of the attack too early if they're bowling quite well. I mean, they are bowling quite well, but they haven't found the breakthrough. You also want the breakthrough, don't you?
Yeah.
Outside the off stump, flies through to Butler. It's left alone by Rowett, and that is not quite the end of the over. It's the 5th ball, so 1 to go. Getting applause from Zach Crawley at second slip, and he's walking back to his run-up. He's beginning to sweat a little bit, Jimmy Anderson. Plenty of effort going into each delivery. Rowett goes for a little walk towards square leg and then resumes his position, which is, I guess, 4 or 5 inches outside popping crease. And in comes Anderson again, plays a lovely stroke to that, but it's nothing more than a push. Anderson goes down to prevent it running away for a single, and that is the end of the over. It's 11 for no wicket, and we have more tweets, hopefully.
Basically, what's happening here is that we're doing a show for each other, Messi Jez and Jay Grover.
And there's nobody else.
Yeah, Jay Grover on again. I just thought I found a stone-aged arrowhead. This would be an odd in a building constructed in the 1800s. Turns out it was a savagely broken button. Bother. And concussions strike again. Luke Callahan is with us on YouTube as well. He says he blames Bear for this. Stop betting on England. It always goes tits up when you back us.
Yeah,
It's not true.
Us pessimists must stick together. 289 runs in the day's play. That's a pretty good run rate, isn't it? 3.63 for Test match cricket. Rahul is facing Broad. Broad is in, bowls. He goes back to a ball that's rising towards his hip. That just knocks it down, jabs it down to the man at short leg. And so we've got a few balls without a run. But it's compelling stuff. England striving for this wicket. India straining to ensure they don't get it. And at the moment, nothing is quite giving. So the Broad is back at the end of his run. He places his fingers along the seam. And he runs in. He bowls and he gets a good ball past the outside edge. Although, Rahul may have just again kept the bat inside the line. And once more, Zach Crawley is the chief cheerleader, clapping vigorously. And I suppose he needs to clap vigorously because he's got to do something before the end of this Test match. And I'm not sure that we're going to see him for a little while after this Test match. So he needs to do something to draw attention to himself. And,
maybe they'll give him a bowl.
Maybe they'll give him a bowl.
Does he bowl?
Maybe he'll take some fantastic... No, I don't think so. Maybe he'll take some fantastic slip catches and save his position. In comes Broad, finds the outside edge. Annoyingly, well, Crawley will be called into action, but all the action it will be is trotting down to third man to retrieve the ball, because that's where it's gone.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Very annoying. Very annoying. It wouldn't have really helped if they'd had a third slip. It would have been wide of a fourth slip, and it would have been probably between him and the gully. But I hate seeing runs come from not entirely intended shots to an untenanted third man. It just does something to me. Probably because I was going to say probably in club cricket, because you never got that. You always just get a single down to third man. There's always third man in club cricket. Outside the off stump, rising on his way through to Butler, and there is no shot played. Sorry, what were you about to say, Jack?
I was going to say we used to have a nutcase who regularly emailed the podcast with suggestions for cricket rule changes, and one of his favourite rule changes was that your runs scored off the edge no longer count because the batsman didn't mean to do it.
Yeah. I like something I wouldn't seriously entertain.
Clearly a bowler.
Yeah. I mean, I edged a few, but I only have got a single. That's what really annoyed me. Broad in bowls a full ball, which might have tempted Rahul to go after the drive, but he decides against it and lets it go through to Butler. And the score remains 15 for no wicket. Rahul's got most of those. He's got 13 from 22. Rohit has just a single from 13 deliveries. And what do you think England are thinking at the moment? Are they a little bit frustrated? We're into the 6th over.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's a long game, isn't it? You've got to get that first breakthrough. I mean, the hard work is getting through the top 4 or 5.
Broad in full, driven through mid-off. There isn't the orthodox mid-off, and that's going to be another reasonably easy 4 for Rahul. He's going to go on to 17 and India to 19. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm a little uneasy from an England perspective here.
Well, we put ourselves in a position where we possibly could get a victory. If we lose, we lose. It'll be a good victory for India.
We will. A flurry of tweets.
Oh, go for it.
Jay Grover, serious. I'm still the only Muppet to buy a shower curtain. Still, what the fuck was I thinking?
No, loads of people with shower curtains.
Anna Forsyth, I'm here, just stunned to silence by Broad's headband, Grand Theft Auto. I am here. I just have nothing original or witty to say.
Rohit wants a single. First ball of Anderton's over, pushes into the offside, but the man at that strange mid-off extra cover hybrid position comes around to stop him.
Jay Grover again. It doesn't matter what the bear does or the destruction he has wrought. He never put a name on it anyway. That cloud looks scary.
That is a scary cloud, isn't it? That really is. That's a giant. That's a bastard. In fact, I'm not sure in which direction, but it looks very misty over, I was going to say over the hills, but actually there's a horrible high rise, and just sort of suburbia, really. I think in comes Anderson again. Bowles, he does get that one to move away, but well played by Rowett, who manages to play it softly enough that it goes straight down into the ground, although it does catch a sort of outside edge. So a little bit frustrating for Anderson, producing some good deliveries, but not able to find the breakthrough at the moment.
There are only 3 scores left in the GPL that can win.
So how many runs have been scored today?
297 now.
297, and what scores are left?
298, 302 and 304.
Ooh.
So the bank wins if 7 more runs are
tight
scored.
indeed. 160 quid or more, I think. Anderson in outside the off stump, 2 wide, and left alone by Rowett Shire. So 40, so that means we've got an extra 20 quid today from 40 entries, which is wonderful news. I don't think we've ever had more than 40, as many as 40 entries. I think that could be a record.
It's close too. I think it may have been a time where we've had a little bit more, but
if you think that we started on 167 this morning, so that's got up to 187.
Yeah, something like that.
Anderson in again and left alone again by Rowett. Not close enough to his off stump to worry him over much.
I don't think the GPL's pot has ever got over £200 though. I think the highest.
I think it's been the 190s, hasn't it? It's been in the 190s.
Yeah, 193. I think it's the highest.
Yeah, and I think that was Messi Jez who won it.
It was Messi Jez, yeah.
Although he probably poured some of it back into the kitty, the generous man that he is. It's like Michael Goff, and is chewing thoughtfully, looking towards his fellow umpire Kettleborough. This is worked into the onside, rather full on leg stump. They're going to go a single to Sam Curran at deep backward square. India have shaved 20 runs off the target of 209 to win, and they're going about it reasonably well, although there have been 1 or 2 alarms. They haven't actively edged anything or been dropped or given any chances, and Rahul has 17 of those runs from 23 deliveries. England will be just a little uneasy. They want a wicket, they want 2 wickets, and Anderson is roaring in. He bowls him a bouncer, and Rahul might not have expected it, but he ducks under it well enough, and that is the end of the over. 7 have been bowled. India are 20 for no wicket.
Jay Grover again says it doesn't matter what the bear does. No, I've read that one. Jersey Oak. I haven't changed my mind. I think he means we're doomed. India could win this by 10 wickets, and that's it for tweets. I hope this next over is bowled by Ollie Robinson. I'm not convinced about
hang on. Are we going off a bad light? Or he's taken the bails off, and he's put the light meter on the wicket, on the top of the stumps, and then it's fallen off. He's put it back again. I'm not sure whether he's taking a reading and says, right, that's a reading, we're going off, and we can come back when it... No. He's taking a reading to say, if it gets any worse than this, we will go off, I guess.
Well, we need a single then, because Selic's winning now on 298.
They have a mark for the light. Oh, it is Ollie Robinson. They have a mark for the light from earlier in the match, so there's already a precedent.
Oh, okay, so he's checking that out. Okay, good point. Ollie Robinson will bowl. He's averaging 15 at the moment from his 2 test matches. We'll jingle him up after this delivery. And he's coming in to bowl to Rohit Sharma. He's in, he bowls, and that jumps on him. But he didn't really know where that had gone, Rohit Sharma, but somehow it had lobbed out into the offside, but not fine enough for Burns to be able to take it at gully. I'm not sure how quickly it went to ground. Did it just pop up in the air? Yes, it did, a little bit. And that's well short and well wide of the gully, but yes, because first of all it's come off the shoulder of the bat, and then it's hit Rohit on the sort of top of the bicep on his right arm, and maybe that has just slowed it down a little bit. It looks very wet somewhere in Nottinghamshire, and not too far from the city centre. We're seeing a camera that is focusing on that. Robinson is in, bowls to Rahul. Rahul turns it to the man at short leg, and there is no run. Rahul 17, Rohit 3. India chasing 209 to win, are 21 without loss. The other thing, of course, is we should remind pessimistic England fans like myself that England did win the first test in India, and India came roaring back. The rain has arrived. The brollies are going up. It's not going to be long. In comes Robinson to bowl to Rahul. Rahul's in behind this on the back foot, and he just eases it out into the offside, and there is no run. So I don't think we're going to get a lot more cricket tonight, unless this is going to blow over fairly quickly. But certainly the cloud off to the left-hand side of my screen looks very gloomy indeed. It is all grey now. There's greyness off to the right-hand side of my screen as well, but it's not as gloomy as the one coming in from the left. 21 for no wicket. Rahul 17, Rohit 3. It's Rahul facing. It's Robinson looking for a breakthrough for England. Onto the back foot he goes, and snatches a hand off the bat as it rises on him. And he does manage to control the shot down towards gully. And, so maybe that extra height that Robinson has is what's going to discomfort these batsmen the most. There does seem to be, with the hard ball, certainly while it is hard, slightly indifferent bounce, and it does seem to take off a few times from outside off stump. Now, what can Robinson do here? 2 slips waiting. It's angled into the thigh pad, and rather uncomfortably rebounds off Rahul behind square. They come through for a single. In fact, he'd been given to the batsman, so there must have been a little bit of glove involved there. Was a leg gully or a leg slip worth putting in here? Anyone?
Well, they've got a short leg, haven't they?
He got the short leg.
I think he's aiming more for that. I don't think he got anything on that.
I don't think he got anything on that. Anyway, he's been given it. It's gone to 18. And it's 22 for no wicket. And Robinson coming in to complete the over, bowling to Rohit Sharma, and he's a little bit discomforted. It's almost sort of cuts him up a little bit, and he jabs it away into the onside behind square, and he will take a single, and he will go take the score to 23 for no wicket. 8 overs have been bowled. It's time for a change. I'm taking a little break, and it's going to be Bear, Messi, and Jack to take you through the next half hour. Hopefully we'll get that. I will pop back at 7 o'clock if needs be.
Okay, well, yeah, it looks like there's a couple of spots of rain on the camera. That we showed the long shot from the ground was picking up rain in a road that was within shot. So, is it coming? Are they going to come off? Probably is. I mean, they've done really well to get this far, haven't they? I mean, we all expected a hell of a lot less play than this today. So it's good news, really. I don't know, the clouds are skitting through quite quickly, and when they're not there, it's fine. Anyway, Anderson is going to continue. That one comes in sharply to Rohit. He jabs it into the leg side. He gets himself a single. They move on to 24 for none, which is 302 runs for the day, which we have another winner on Mark Selleck. We basically need 3 more runs, and we're clear of anybody's GPL picks. And it's all gravy till tomorrow.
Yes. Well, is that basically you're from the perspective of greed?
Yes, we're the bank. Yeah. We're like the casino. That's through to the keeper and there's no run. We win if you lose. But we don't.
Well, that's not absolutely true, Bear. Well, basically, Gorilla gets money if anybody makes a pick.
But this is true. This is true.
But more people pick if the jackpot grows is probably what is true.
But in my mind, Messi, we're never going to have to pay out again, which of course is absolute nonsense. But it helps me feel good about things, you know.
Well, Jay Grover says, "Fucking get in, Selleck, my son."
Exactly. That's played square on the offside and there's no run. Although the one thing about Mark Selleck is I can never pay him. His PayPal account never receives money. I've had this chat with him a couple of times. And he always goes, "I just keep the money," which is also very nice of him.
Well, that's extremely generous.
Messi, it sounds like you're speaking to us from next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got issues. I don't think you're coming off your head.
Yeah, no, it's all right. No, I'm sorry. I unplugged my mic when I'm off air, so I can hear it when I'm without my headphones on.
Fair enough. Anderson is in, well outside the off stump, left alone by KL Rahul. He's on 18. He's only faced 31 balls. Leaves that through to Butler, and there's no run. See, the sun's out again now. It's that kind of weather, isn't it? I mean, we might go all the way through till 7:30, in which case it'd be a fantastic day's play. And It means we won't have actually lost much of this Test match at all.
Yeah,
that's
true. It's been quite fluky.
Yeah, indeed. Occasionally you get these things, I suppose, in England. Anderson, pardon me, is in. Driven sweetly by KL Rahul out through the covers. It goes all the way to the boundary. It's going to be 4 runs. All along the deck, that was.
So I would point out that India need 181 more to win. They lost 10 wickets for 181 in the first innings, so it's all up for play.
Well, it is. I mean, England have got India have got to be wise here. If they can do something like the first innings, these two can put on 80, 90 for the first wicket. Then pressure's all on England, and you expect them to win from there. That one is straighter by Anderson and played from the crease by KL Rahul. Back down the track, there's no run. I mean, KL Rahul had a pretty, apart from the ton he scored in that last Test at the Oval, I think he started the series last time, didn't he? And had a pretty torrid time. Then missed the Test and had to come back for some reason. I can't remember why. And scored that ton. And he's certainly carrying on in that vein.
Parrot Badger asks, for those of us not able to watch, that high-rise, is it concrete? Is it my beloved brutalism? Well, it's funny you should ask that. I was looking at it. It was shrouded in mist, and it looked to me like it might actually be some sort of castle of some sort. And I've been using Street View to walk around Nottingham to try and find it, but I can't, I'm afraid, Parrot Badger.
It's probably either a hospital, student digs, or just a tower block.
Could just be a tower block, yeah. Oxymoronicus has just been shopping down the bush, swarming with QPR supporters with sirens blaring. I mean, I'm thinking, oh God, football already. I've got to get back to the cricket quick.
Yeah, the football season has started. First ball of Ollie Robinson's next over. It's just dropped out on the offside square, and there ain't no run. The sun is shining as well. Go on.
Jay Grover's going to start a shower curtain purchases self-help group. If only because their houses must be so massive. I can get someone to talk the contents for me. Didn't Messrs get over 200 once? No, I didn't. £171, I think it was.
I think it was 190 one time.
Maybe.
It's a lot of Aussie dollars.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's a good night out. Ollie Robinson is in. Oh, beats the outside edge of Rohit. Trying to work it into the leg side, and must have held its line a little bit. He kind of falls over whilst playing the shot.
Kept low.
Did keep low, and but no cigar for England, and he remains there.
He's really getting it to go up and down.
Yeah.
On his end.
Well, he's a tall guy, isn't he? It hits the deck, as you said. If there's divots, hits the downside of a divot, it's going to keep low. Hits the upside, it's going to jump.
Yeah, I mean, I think from what we've seen so far, it's only 10 overs inning. It looks like he's going to have to do a lot of the work for England here to get a result.
Yeah, I mean, Broady was always so reliable. Just looks innocuous at the moment, doesn't he? That's into the pads of Rohit and clips it sweetly out through mid wicket. There's a man out in the deep. It'll just be the 1 run.
I just feel like Robinson's got the energy. He's got that oomph to him, whereas Broad seems a little less bullish about it. You know what I mean?
I think Broad struggled in his 3 or 4 overs to hold a consistent line as well, or length rather. So a few floaty half volleys, and that's really the one thing that KL Rahul can do as well as anyone else, is smack a ball that's a half volley for 4.
Yes, he got a very nice cover drive. Also, the thing about Broady is that's defended well by KL. Gets to right behind the line, defends it back down the track. No, he's not really a swing bowler, is he? I mean, he's more a seam bowler. And there hasn't been an extravagant movement off the seam. I mean, the scrambled seam has done stuff, but there's a lot of movement in the air, not masses amount off the seam.
Robinson gets a lot of bounce though.
Yeah,
seems
well, he's a tall guy, as we found out. He's got the 3rd highest release point in international cricket. Don't you know? South Africans have scored a try. Tries to leave that, I think, Rahul. but ends up toe-ending it through a vacant third, fourth slip area, all the way down to the third man area, and it'll be 4 runs. Like he was trying to pull his bat away from that, didn't he? And timed it sweetly off the bottom of the bat.
I'd be a little more generous than that. It wasn't right down the bottom of the bat.
No, but he was definitely trying to pull the bat away.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to play that shot.
It's certainly been his test, though, from the point of view of cashing in on drops and playing misses and stuff.
Well, absolutely. I mean, wow, we dropped him twice, didn't we? I mean, how many drops did we catch in the end? Drop in the end? 3 in total, wasn't it? Ollie Robinson is in. Decent ball, decent line, just outside off stump, nipping back in a little bit to Roll, who defends it back down the track. There's no run. That ends the 10th over, and Robinson has none for 8 off his 2.
Leah's keeping an eye on you, Jack. She says, "How are those nails doing, Jack? Ready to construct Nagelflower replica yet?" I've got no idea what Nagelflower replica is, but there you go. Grand Theft Auto says, "A GC shower curtain with the gorilla on it, one assumes, is a sexy shower time mood killer."
Absolutely, you can have that design or any other design that we have at Redbubble. You know, you can have them all on a shower curtain. Apparently the shower curtain isn't enormous, though, from what Jay said when he bought it.
Yeah.
Well,
and Grand Theft Auto has a question. He says, if Robinson gets another 5 for England, for an England win, should he get man of the match or Root? Whoa.
I imagine he'd get. I think I'd give it to Ollie Robinson if he gets 10 wickets in a match and essentially wins the game. I'd give it to him. Well, Broady's going to come back on. Clearly didn't like the lender he was borrowing from. Rooty clearly has faith in him, unlike the rest of us at the moment, and he's going to come back on at the end that Jimmy Anderson was on it. I'm not going to play his jingle again because I played it not that long ago. We shall see the field. I imagine it'll be 2 slips, gully. Not been a lot of catches in the slips. Has there been any catches in the slips? Anyone caught in the slips? No one has, have they? Drops in the slips, but no one's actually been caught there, I don't think. Broad, headband in place, is going to come into bowl to Rohit. He's got 6 off 24. That's on his pads, though, clipped. Good bit of fielding by Johnny B. It's a pretty close, straight mid-wicket, and there is no run. India
yes, Root did take a catch in the slips after he dropped that one.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Nestor's is like me. He said, I won 114 quid on the GPL early this year. Gorilla Cricket is still up on my bets, though.
Well, you know. It's all a bit of fun.
It's a nice way. It's a nice way to contribute. I always say.
Absolutely, it adds a bit of spice at the end of the day as well. Yeah. Defended by Rohit out to extra cover, and there is no run. And the Lions have now gone 13-10 up with a converted try. Bastards.
Oh, Brian Barish is doing it tough. He's tuning in very late, I imagine, but here under the window air conditioning unit on a hot Pennsylvania day, listening to you all and pondering a nap before going to a friend's pig roast.
Oh, that sounds nice. Full hog roast, always a good thing. Broady in and played nicely. Oh, there's a little bit of a mix-up, but they get through in the end. Rohit just played it into the leg side, just wide of Johnny B. They kind of stopped by the looks of it, and then the camera pulled away. But they went through with it. Rahul must have committed much more than Rohit because he seemed to be the stop-starty one. And I wonder if they'd have gone to that end. No, they both went off straight away. And in the end, made it quite easily. And it's a good start by India, isn't it? 35 for none, 10 overs.
It is. Yeah.
Chasing a small
I mean, that's the thing. If you were sort of 15 after 10 overs, you'd say, yeah, it was a grind and they were wearing the shine off the ball. But this really helps in this circumstance.
Yeah, it does indeed. Left alone outside the off stump by KL Rahul, and there ain't no run. I mean, this is it. You still got to get Virat Kohli's come into bat. We got him out for none in the first innings. Doubt very much we'll get him for a low score in this innings, unless we're bloody lucky, because he'll be coming out and he'll be concentrating hard on making it count. As Luke settles down and Broad is in to bowl the 5th ball of the over. Oh, that's gone. That's it. That's the first wicket. Broady gets his wicket. We've been cussing him, but he's come back. That's a really good ball, just outside the line of off stump, nipped away. It's drawn a shot of KL Rahul. It's taken a thin edge through to Butler. KL Rahul has to go. England get their first wicket. It's game on, 34 for 1. What was a reasonably bright start by Carroll, brought to the end by Broady. That was good. That was a good wicket, wasn't it, Jack?
Great delivery. I'm very happy with that. I actually fucking hate KL Rahul, so God, I'm glad he's out. Yeah, he's one of the most selfish batters in world cricket. He calls himself King Legend.
Well, yeah.
I also don't have a lot of respect for people who basically fluke their way to 80, and then the whole of Indian Twitter tells me they're fucking amazing. I watched his innings. I watched his first innings. It was all right.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't the greatest. True.
He's going to get out like that a lot in England.
Well, he did get
probably
out like
for
that.
not very high scores.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what his problem was last time. You see, that's why. That's why he got dropped, but then came back and scored that ton. That's exactly the problem.
Get good riddance. Get him out.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Goodbye.
It was well bowled by Broad. It has to be said. It's the perfect Broad delivery. You've got to play at it. If it keeps a little bit low, it's threatening the stumps. Get something out of the wicket, and you're cooked as a batter.
And the thing with Broad, if he gets one fairly early on, he often goes on to get some more.
Well, that's it. His pecker gets up, doesn't it? This is another man who I have nightmares about. I certainly did. Last couple of times I've seen him, he's managed to get out for not many, but he's a guy who can just bloody sit there, isn't he?
As an Australian, I can attest to that.
Well, yeah, I mean... But he may be a little bit vulnerable in England. Who knows? He's not really done a lot here, I don't think, Pujara, has he? I remember going to see him. I remember at the end of the season when we were doing a sofa, so this is years ago, he was playing for Surrey, and we went down there to have a drink at the end of some day towards the end of the season. He was looking godlike at Surrey. But that was a long time ago. Broad is in, first ball to Pujara, who just plays that square out to backward point, and there ain't no run.
England came in from $5.80 to $3.80 in Australia on that one wicket.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, in these sort of low-scoring games, every wicket is not necessarily low-scoring, but in a chase of 200 or 170 now, every wicket's a big impact on the price, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it will do. Exactly that. Well, people. It's also the bookies go on how much money gets piled in. Suddenly, a load of English people are going, "Oh, 5 to 1!" Bang, put some money on, and suddenly, it comes in. I got 10 to 3 a long time ago, so it's above that now. But I'll stick with that. It's going to be a tight one. Well, potentially a tight one. Anyway, Rohit is facing up. Ollie Robinson is coming in to bowl to him. Oh, and there's a peel for behind. And doesn't look like the umpire's going to give it. Butler went up.
I thought he
Ollie Robinson
missed
was
it.
charging down the thing. Yeah, I mean, everyone went up, but now they're all going, we're not going to... they are going to review it. Well, Butler is convinced that he got something on it. I thought it was one
Robinson
of those.
wasn't convinced.
I think he
all.
was. Robinson was doing a Broady, going down a wicket with his hands in the air, not even looking at the umpire.
I don't think he reacted until after the guys behind the wicket had reacted.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it looked like there was a good 4 or 5 inches between bat and ball here. Not maybe that's an exaggeration, but it looked like there was a gap here.
Nowhere near it.
Well, yeah, possibly. I mean, the camera doesn't always show something. I mean, they must have heard something for it to do it. I mean, he's hanging his hands out there. I don't know if it's that far away.
It's pretty far to me, Bear.
I don't know. Well, it's difficult to know when it actually goes past the bat. If it goes past the bat where I think it does, then there's a little edge. But if it's going past there, then there's a massive gap. Miles away. Well, I don't know what they fucking heard. I mean, it's not even like it's brushed any material either. So
that's why Robinson didn't think it was out. Yeah.
And there's some rain coming down, but there's some sunshine. So they probably have a rainbow in Nottingham. Well, yeah, that's a pretty shit call from the England side. Didn't we do that in the first innings as well?
Yep.
Maybe he's got a clacker in his pocket. Go on, review.
Jay Grover says, I'd only play the GCL if Messrs were guaranteed all my profits. If only because the idea that I've only been listening to these bastards for 8 years is wonderfully naive.
Ah, well, you know. Can it, Jay? Clipped into the leg side out to deep mid wicket. And there is a single. Well, you could look. I don't mind, Jay. If you want to donate all your winnings to Messi, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you donated all his winnings to Jesse.
How long is it since the sofa started?
We started in 2009 for the Ashes.
Wow, so 12 years.
12
Jesus,
years, yeah.
That's a long
I've been doing this shit for 12 years, Messi.
And you've enjoyed it.
It's had its
and
moments.
he also says Jack is a follower of Nurgle, confirmed. I've got no idea what that means. Do you, Jack?
No idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Nurgle.
Never heard of it. Robinson in, beats the outside edge of Pujara this time. That's a great ball. And not particularly great shot by Pujara. Well, I suppose he's trying to defend his stumps, but he's definitely playing at that one. Gets beaten on the outside edge, and it's through to the keeper. And there ain't no run. So that got a little bit off the seam, a tiny bit, but not a lot.
I think he's a bit of a target for Jara, to be honest.
Do you?
Really convinced about him by it in England.
No, again, well, it's the perennial problem of this is why I think England will win the series. Fundamentally, I don't think it's as easy for England to win in England as oh wow, that one jumps and goes away.
Poor batting.
Whoa, yeah, well, he's been drawn into a shot outside his off stump. Pujara there, it's beaten again on the outside edge. But that's why, you know, India prepared Bunsen burners, and we're really shit at playing spin. Hence, we got hammered. I don't think India particularly. I mean, we've talked about England's batting woes and the fact that we're pretty weak, but at least they play in England. And whilst they've got some classy batsmen, the Indians, they do like to field bat on ball, and they're vulnerable to go at balls outside the off stump, as a lot of teams don't play much against the ball that swings or moves as much, and therefore that's why I think England should win.
Or they completely changed their game. Like Rohit, 8 off 29 here. It wouldn't be 8 off 29 if this was in India.
No.
Not played a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that one cuts back into him, keeps a little bit low. Pujara does manage to jab his back down on it. And it goes square on the leg side and there's no run. Pujara has played in England in county cricket though, so I mean he should know the conditions. I suppose he hasn't played here for a while, but the conditions don't change, do they, per se? It's just a question of muscle memory. Going dragging it out from a long way back.
Interestingly, Pujara hasn't made more than 21 since the first innings of the first test in Chennai in February.
Yeah. Well, he got out to Jack Leach a lot, didn't he? It was a bit of his bunny. Played into the leg side, and there's no run. The joy of DRS, really. You know, kept getting hitting on the pad, lunging forward right in front of middle stump.
He still managed to bat for 129 deliveries against New Zealand for 15 runs.
Well, yeah, that's
in that second innings.
Well, that's what he does. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if he'd scored 40 runs, they'd have drawn that test.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... Yeah, anyway. I think England will fancy him.
I hope so. I really do. Brody is going to continue. He's going to be bowling at Rohit, as Jack said, 8 off 29. That one comes back into him a little bit. Short leg, who is Dan Lawrence, I think, who then holds his shoulder after just picking the ball up. Weird. And there ain't no run.
How long till he bowls a nice short one for Rohit to hook?
don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a high risk one. That is. I mean, that's how they got him in the first innings. But he is quite good on the short ball.
Generally, he's quite good.
Factor in pitches a bit up and down.
Yeah. Brought in, he does bowl a short one, and that gets clattered.
That long.
Yeah, exactly. Clattered all along the ground. Didn't go full-blooded at it. Pulled it down and out to deep square leg. It will be a single. That was a good shot. He was well on top of that. Didn't get up high enough, really.
Yeah. Jay Grover says, I'd only... sorry. To be fair, my flat isn't that big. If I was Andre the Giant, I would cut it in half and make it a poncho for his Jotun ancestors. And he says, Jack's giving me the fear now. What have you done, Jack?
Yeah. Broad in, full. That's on leg stump. That's a pretty poor ball, actually, to Pujara. He clips that nicely. It's going out towards deep mid wicket. Don't think it's going to get cut off. It is not. It's going to make itself to the boundary for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That was a pretty rubbish ball on leg stump and got what it deserved, really.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all day every pitching the ball up has just not been the way.
No.
Forward.
But getting the length right, it's that length, isn't it? Maybe just over or just short of a length.
Well, I think he's searching a little bit broad in this here so far.
Yeah. Well, he has got the breakthrough. He's going at nearly 4 runs and over, though. Pujara is facing up. Broady bowls. It's a decent ball on about off stump. Pujara defends that pretty well up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Garen Fethado says, what I love about a long test series is that even if there is a rain-affected draw, it adds to the drama and dynamic. The series is poised with unresolved tension. Yeah, it's like we're just setting off on the journey, and we could end up anywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, the one thing you get about long test series is like eventually, like England in India, by the end, you know, they won that first one, they got pulled back, and they lost the third one. By the end, you know, they kind of get mentally drained, and you see it come out in the play. There's a big appeal for LBW. Well, that's interesting. I wasn't sure if that was glove onto pad, possibly.
There's a bat. Joe Root said there.
I thought it came off glove and then onto pad, and just bobbled out on the leg side. It did seem.
I think it was too low for a glove.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's off the inside edge of the bat.
Pretty big edge.
It did seem to move a bit before it hit the pad.
You can see short leg go for the catch as well in a way that suggested they thought they were in the game.
Another one there, missed that, and that would have been, if he had missed it, certainly would have been pretty damn close. Broad is in again. Oh, and that one has ballooned off an inside edge onto the pad, and how is he not out there? There's a guy at short mid-wicket, there's a short leg, Broad is up for it now, and it's ballooned off the inside edge, gone off the pad, and gone out to where probably a standard mid-wicket would be, but there's a standard square leg just in front of square, and he can't get round quite quick enough to catch it.
It's about 5 guys that could have caught that.
Yeah, it's ballooned over all of them and landed in no man's land. It's really unfortunate for Broady.
Yeah, that's really unlucky for England.
Yeah.
Still, I think, you know, I don't think he's going to last very long batting like this.
No, it doesn't feel that way, does it? The pressure is certainly on him. And the one thing about Pujara is, you know, that game is pretty much never going to get away from you on his batting.
No, that is true. It's a little bit one-dimensional.
Yeah. Robinson is in, and he's bowling to Rohit. He just plays it out to mid-wicket, and there's no run. I mean, he is the equivalent of Sibley, I guess. With a lot more test runs in the bank. Probably scores even slower than Sibley. And he's a number 3.
I think Pujara, he scores a lot quicker than away Pujara when he's at home. He scores like a normal player.
Well, yeah. Rohit. That's pulled. Is it pulled up? No, it's not pulled up. It's pulled in front of, well, just behind square to long leg. Is he holding on to that when he dived over the sponge? I don't know. They got back for 2. They'll probably check whether that was 4. It's a good pick up by Sammy Khan running from long leg. So
It's just a little scoop up, wasn't it?
I was just wondering whether he was holding on the ball for longer. No, he let go of it before he fell over the rope. Good bit of fielding. Sibley was backing him up pretty well. 42 for 1.
Of all his 146 test innings, there was only 2 where Pajaro's had a strike rate over 100.
Whoa. Well, that's played into the leg side at square for a single.
One was his first where he was out for 4 or 3 balls, and then his 10th. Where's it going again? Yeah, it's about his 12th where he got 6 or 5 balls.
So okay, low scoring innings, he might have a score rate of over 100.
Yeah, but there's an awful lot in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, well, that's around about his strike rate, isn't it? 25, 30. Which some would say was too slow. But it did a job for them in Australia, did it not?
Certainly did.
Robinson is in and played with an angled bat by Pajara. They've got an extra man in the slip coordinate 4 step. I think was it 1, 2 and 4, and then a gully in the slips. 2 balls left and is Robinson over. He's gone for 12 runs so far. He's in his 4th.
I think I'm retiring for the day at the end of this over.
I think I am too. My brain is scrambled. It's been a long old day, and we've still got half an hour left. I don't know who's in for the last half hour. Robinson again. That's guided, but he gets it between the slips this time. That's really annoying. By Pajara, gets it down to the 3rd man boundary, and it's going to be another 4 runs. Is that also a no ball, did I see?
Yep.
That's a bit annoying. Played with soft hands. It was always going down. A little bit away from his body by Pajara, but yeah. A wry smile on Ruti's face kind of says it all. Still 2 balls left in this over. And India are nearly up to 50 already in the 14th over. They could do this in 60 overs. That's defended back down the track. Pajara sort of thought about a run. Rohit thought about a run, and then they both headed back, and there ain't no run. Hendo's shown up. All right, Hendo.
He's taking over from Jack. You're staying with me, and we're going through to 7:30.
That is correct.
Okie dokie. Well, I need.
Do you not read any of the chat that I put up there, Bear?
I was trying to look on it.
It was about 20 minutes ago, but.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. I'll stay. I just need to go and get a whiskey, and have a.
Fair enough.
Go and visit the woods. Driven. Oh, sorry, I'm still on there. Driven out through cover, and Broady turned around expecting there to be someone behind him, and then there wasn't. So he started chasing after it, but it got to the boundary, and it's another 4 runs, and they're scoring quite freely. England need to take some wickets.
That's the end of the day, folks.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
That is the end of the day.
Oh, that's the end of the day. Oh, that's a good. That's a really. Oh well, we've been led to believe by Messi that it was going until 7:30.
Yeah, well, Knackle was the one who passed the message on that was 7:30. So.
Okay. Oh well. I
that's a relief because it's 2:00 here.
Yeah, you need to get your head down, Messi.
I'm going to head off too because I've got to go and arrange a podcast with somebody.
Okay, see you, Jack.
Okay,
see you later.
Catch you later.
Okay, Jack. Thanks a lot. Well, there I was, poised to bring you more wisdom. But I'm not too disappointed in one way because it felt to me as if India were getting on top there. There was just a little bit of a shaky period when they got that wicket, and they might have got another 1 or 2. But India go into the final day. I'd have to say, well, unless England get really 2 or 3 wickets in the first 45 minutes tomorrow. It's India's going to lose, isn't it?
It is India's going to lose from this position. But as you say, wickets change matches, and England have got to count time. I hope it's a little bit cloudy. The ball's swinging around. They're refreshed. The ball's still reasonably new, and they've got to try and get wickets on the board quick. And the thing is, they've got to get through these 2, and they've got to get through Kohli. I mean, they need 4 reasonably quick wickets within 70 runs, probably.
Yeah, I mean they've got to have them, 120 for 5, something like that, to 130 for 5. And I think that if England do go on to lose this, I do think they lost their way at the end of the innings today. I really do. I mean, I know Jack has a different view on that, but it just shrieks to me of lack of faith in themselves, or maybe overconfidence in their own bowling. I don't know. It's so difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was really sort of propelling that approach so late on in the innings. As you said, we have got batsmen who were batting quite well. I know we'd lost Root, but we still had Curran and Robinson who looked to be quite comfortable until Curran started playing some sort of one-day shots.
Exactly.
And that was just a matter of time, really, wasn't it? I think, with the bowling being this good. Anyway, that is it for day 4. The weather forecast not great tomorrow, but we hope we'll get some play. I mean, maybe we could argue that in England might be hoping for rain if things don't go very well in the first hour tomorrow. But it's been a fascinating day. England got themselves back into the game, and then maybe just got a little bit overconfident. I don't know. Root made a fantastic 109 from 172 balls, 14 fours. It was a 21st Test century. Good knock from Johnny Bairstow. Gave it away to a long hop though. Was looking good. 30 off 50 with 4 fours. Dan Lawrence again flattered to deceive. 25 off 32. Joss Butler left one alone straight after tea. I'm not sure what you can say to that. Useful knock from Sammy Curran, 32. I felt he could have gone on and got a 50 if they just played sensibly, and Robinson got 15. But you have to say, Jasper Brummer it was with the new ball when he got rid of Joe Root. That was possibly the crucial wicket. It certainly produced a change in the approach from England, and so you would have to say that was the crucial wicket. He finished with 5 for 64. Mohammad Siraj 2 for 84. Mohammad Shami 1 for 72 and Shardul Thakur 2 for 37. Thank you to everyone who's been on board today. It's been a long old day, but a good one. We shall be back at about 10:50 a.m. BST in the morning. Look out for a report tonight, which will be coming to an internet near you fairly soon. But until then, unless we've got any magnificent tweets.
There's quite a few tweets, but I think the best one is probably from Jay Grover, where he said the 12 years since the sofa started and he's been listening. 12 years, prison was a relief.
Right, yeah, okay. Were we geo-blocked in prison? I suppose it must have been something like that. Thanks, Jay. He's always
one more from Josie. The Bear doing this shit for 12 years, you'd have thought he'd got better at it.
Fuck off. Who said that?
Nothing. I have no response to that whatsoever. Well, if you want more cricket, there is the 100 going on. George Gardner's just taken a wicket. It's the Superchargers are 6. They're 10 for 1. But until tomorrow, when we will get proper Test cricket, and India look likely or are favourites to win this one, it's good night from those of us left standing or sitting at Guerrilla Cricket. There's only 3 of us. It's goodbye from Messi.
Thank you all for being with us.
Yes.
It's goodbye for the Bear.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from me, Gorilla Hendo. Good night.
Bye.
See ya.
Guerrilla Cricket.